Hello everybody and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking more about Suicide Squads because, one, we're going to be covering that game lots more as the weeks and months pass because I'm going to jump big time into that game. We're going to talk about Suicide Squad. We're going to go over the IGN actual written article. We watched the video yesterday. We watched Lejeune, we watched Caboose, we watched J-Shock Blast, we watched IGN. And IGN, I shit you not, right? I watched 25 different reviews, impressions, whatever you want to call it, okay? I watched so many different people's impressions of it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about the IGN one because it sticks out like a sore thumb. And congratulations, they did what they're supposed to do because they want clicks, and that's what they got, okay? So we're going to give them another click. Okay, we're going to give them another click. We're going to review that. We're also going to go over an article from Game Informer, but we're going to talk about the coming attractions because I want to talk about what IGN's review didn't talk about compared to everybody else that brought up stuff from the impressions video. Okay, I'm also going to bring up Games Radar because they also talk about the Battle Pass and whatnot, and I know that's what people are looking to see what more information they got on that. We're also going to go over Steam's peak player count proves the power of PC gaming. We're also going to go over the third-party rumors raise questions about Xbox long-term strategy. So yeah, we have lots to talk about, and we're also going to watch Comicstorian was another person that I watched yesterday, and I thought his video was actually really good because he was straight up and told a lot of information that wasn't spoken about by anybody else that was also doing the impression video of Suicide Squad. So if you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We interact with chat live. Boom, right there. So I go over a news story. We do a little breakout video. It breaks out later for people to watch after the fact, but I talk to live chat, and we go back and forth with their thoughts and as well. So let's start off. Let's start off here by saying good morning. Good morning, good morning. What's going on, Ghost Fixer? What's going on, Z, Travis, L, Roadkill, thumbs up. Right, hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it. Jesse Mack, what's going on? Dolphin, good morning. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over the IGN article first. All right. Come on, Kogi. So yesterday, you can see my live reactions because literally we went live. The embargo lifted for the people that went to this play event, and we watched in order. We watched IGN, watched Lejeune, we watched Caboose, and we watched J-Shock Blast. Okay, then my stream crashed 2 hours in. Okay, we're gonna go over the written article, okay, not the video, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts as we go along. But if you'd like to see my actual reaction to the video live, go check that out on a in the upload live stream yesterday. Travis says IGN named Quinn Fall Game of the Year. That's just how much the camera. Yeah, that's the top one of their game. All right, here we go. We get my my notes here for a second. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's preview from IGN. They said we played it and we didn't like it. So, Rocksteady's first large-scale game is most 9 years and not clicking with us. Okay. As the best part, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League after playing it for a few hours in the story, and yes, it certainly seems like you will be killing the characters you know and love. Lots of death happening, and it's also a big part of the problem I have with the entire premise. This right here, I said yesterday, but I'm going to pinpoint right here. This part right here has a problem with the premise, okay? You're already prejudging something. Now, obviously, if I don't like something, I'm going to go in by looking to hate it even more. This particular person, Destin Legary, for IGN, was going into it not liking the premise because he wanted a Batman Arkham game. Okay, he says, I can't help but shake that there's no way Rocksteady is going to let this stick. Our heroes have done terrible things, and there's been a time reversal mechanic or some sort of alternate Earth timeline that comes along and washes away all the terrible awfulness that's happened during the story. Again, you went to a preview event You're supposed to give us information about what information's in the game, not that it's dark, doomy, and you don't like the premise. Okay. There's also a time reverse or I already read that, from enslaving a child of a poison ivy to straight up watching the heroes murder people. There's a lot here to make you feel a bit uncomfortable about the journey we're about to be taken on. The fact that you have a time to put in from enslaving a child of poison ivy in the game, instead of telling us about the grade of weapons that you can do, co-op, cross-play, any of this stuff is kind of funny to me. Okay. It says also a pair of disconnects of the game mechanics straight out, like Destiny, Anthem, Marvel's Avengers. I'm left worried about the final product coming together in a way that works. Now, the fun just wasn't there for me, at least not yet. Okay. Usually when you play a game like this, if you're not, I mean, he likes looter shooters. He's played Destiny and played Marvel's Avengers. He's played the other games. Now, he might not be the best gamer, but he has played these things. To judge a game based on a 4-hour stint that you had, maybe 3-4 hours, and you're like, well, I just don't like it. Well, you know, by reviewing the other games that you've reviewed, you know it takes longer to get to those builds. Okay. He says, let me explain in more detail. The story has its fun moments, yes, and the team banter, at least during the cutscenes, is when Kill Justice League is its best, which I said I'm in it for the story because Rocksteady tells good stories. So this is yet what I'm going in for. He says the cutscenes have clearly been given a lot of love. Meanwhile, the character models look great. The voice acting is on point, and there's a lot of moments here generally thinking that it could be enough to carry me through the messy, tired open world missions. Now, this is actually critiquing the actual thing he played. Hey, voiceover, cutscenes, this actually seems pretty good. Now, while they could reverse time to fix the morality issues at play, chances are that it's be willing to difficult given that the planned expansions, story additions, and gear chases coming later in the form of free updates. That's about all he says about the future content, right? That means we'll be stuck with terrible things that transpired, and if the name sticks, stuck with dead Justice League. But hey, they punch Boomerang for putting a boomerang. They punched Boomerang for putting a bomb in her head. So let's move on from that whole enslaving a child thing. Again, he goes back, doubles down on the slaving a child of a fake character, Poison Ivy. That's not really a child, but hey, whatever. He says, I know Poison Ivy, and this is the kind of a Waller thing, but I'm using the illustration a point. What's the point? Why do you have to bring up enslaving in children? But whatever. All of these things, one package feels like an old mix. Now, Rocksteady had a winning formula with Batman games and trying to write a complex new book, but so far, lightning is not in the bottle. Or lightning's not in the bottle. A live service game that Rocksteady is not what I had from my Christmas list this year. Again, you're going in knowing that this is a live service game and you're holding it against it instead of just taking the merits of what the game is. The team is single-handedly responsible for making some of the best combat I've ever experienced. The combat arena in Arkham series also allowed you to tackle them with stealth brute force, enabling further flavor and variety in Bruce Wayne's evangelism. Okay. To this day, in fact, you can find ridiculous takedown montages on YouTube and TikTok for Batman Arkham Knight. And unfortunately for Suicide Squad, once the fun story bits end, you're left with much of a less inspired combat system and an open world that's filled with tedious tasks that are more about grinding through traditional tropes like point defense, collecting materials, and turn it in. Now, here's the thing. Up here in the article, he mentions that, I haven't played enough, so I really don't know. But down here, he's assuming that the whole game, because he's known with looter shooters and he's played other ones in the past, that he's automatically assuming that these game is going to be empty, shill, and nothing going on. But hey, he's the reviewer, not me. Okay? So he says, there are shining moments with the combat, such as powerful feeling of takedowns and their takedowns, and there does seem to have some depth to build variety. Okay, again, jumping back, it seems like there's a bit of variety, but I don't know, right? But yet he's telling you that the game's going to be shill and nothing to do. But surrounded by teammates who won't shut up with their quips, with quickly becoming annoying. Again, this sounds like a more of a specific thing, like a subjective thing, than it's a personal problem, okay? And the combat does start, and it also has moments, but it's also issues along animations to retain for shields, or you get knocked out of animation for unclear reasons. Now, which is funny because when he made that point, you get knocked out of animations for unclear reasons. If I go back to the video right now and show you, okay, he literally gets hit by the Flash at that moment with a lightning strike. But whatever. Okay, I don't know if he was using that point and then showing that animation going, I don't know why I got knocked out of animation. I could tell you why. You got hit by something. Okay. So it says unclear reasons. I thought it was just me, but it also happens to provide footage straight from WB. There you go. So he even mentions it right there. Okay. So unfortunately for Suicide Squad, once the fun story bits end, you're left with a much less inspired combat system. He says, while we have provided a boss fight footage against the Flash footage to reference, I just want to mention that I found the fight incredibly annoying. There's no indication where the Flash is most times. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm going to read, because when he said it yesterday, I was like, did he play this? It doesn't seem like he played it. It says, while we have provided boss fight footage against the Flash footage to reference, did he play it? Because it didn't sound like he played it. And if he did, I got questions, right? He says, I just want to mention that I found the fight incredibly annoying. So I'm assuming he played it. There's no indication where the Flash is most times, and he's the Scarlet Speedster, so he's just constantly zipping around the map. That didn't make the fight hard. It just made it frustrating. We'll just let that sit there for a second, okay? He's saying the Flash is too fast, and it was frustrating because he couldn't get it, right? It wasn't hard. It was just frustrating. And we're going to watch a video later that tells you the whole situation of the Flash fight, okay? You get a handful of shots on him before they teleport to the next location. So you're just trying to chase him down and catch him, standing in one spot long enough till you get him before you do it all again. Well, there's this actual mechanic in the boss fight, which while you have guns, you're using a Speed Force rounds in the actual guns to shoot him, to get enough bullets in him to slow him down, so then you can actually pound on him to get him down low. But that wasn't told in the review, at least not from his. So you're trying to chase him down to catch him standing in one spot long enough so you can get him, and does it all again. I do wish there was a bit of he's down, get him moment, but unfortunately it seems like there's a trope that wasn't used here. WB also sent over some footage of experienced Shark player Wrecking Shop, so let's include the montage which he does there. Okay. In the open world, however, missions tend to favor many of the tried and true types, which makes you feel a bit of inspired filler. Now, like Stop Me if you've heard this before, you defend the point from waves of enemies and spawns. Sound familiar? Yes, it's in every live service game made in existence. Okay. Now imagine that every time you defeat a handful of these enemies, you just stand around waiting with nothing to do. Happens in every single one. Not making an excuse here. I'm just saying, call a spade a spade. This was exactly what happened during one of the core story missions, and the padding feels completely unnecessary. When the next quest starts, I stood there while Amanda Waller called the character in comms and bantered with Poison Ivy before sending me back to the other end of the map to save civilians by flying bus, looking straight out of Fortnite. Now, I don't understand this part here. He's complaining about the story elements of Amanda Waller telling them to go to the next location, and then he had to move his character to the next location across the map. Okay. And then he's also talking about a bus that looks like Fortnite. Okay. And that right there feels like he just hates the game and is looking for anything, little bits and pieces to just shit on it more. At least the Riddler puzzles making a return of the Arkham games bring at least one familiar fun activity to Suicide Squad's Metropolis. But he didn't play them, he said, right? He just literally just said it's in the game. The potential saving grace for all the gripes would be that the whole combat system comes together and a lot better when you get to sit down and actually make a build, which we didn't have a chance to do right away in the preview event. For some context, we started out playing through the same tutorial from the beta, picking up the characters, Deadshot in my case. Now, here's an interesting take here, because he literally just said, even though we all played the game, okay, he literally said that they played the exact same thing in the beta. So now everyone's like, oh, well, I know what you're talking about, right? And I don't know if that's breaking NDA. I mean, I guess I just broke NDA because I just admitted that I also played it, okay? But after that, we jump into Chapter 3. Where I tried out Shark, what I didn't realize was the Chapter 3 gives you a complete build control. And having played on a different class, it took me a bit of the session to get warmed up to the new movement mechanics Shark and compared to Deadshot. Okay? If you look back and to provide the Flash gameplay, it looks like the player has a good grasp on the movement, but it also comes back to similar core mechanics. Aim gun, shoot gun, and Shu's core mechanics in a game like Destiny really stave it. He's complaining about the core mechanics of shoot gun, right? Aim gun, shoot gun. Okay. So, and there's core mechanics like Destiny really saved it. Now, here is just a felt samey across the board. Even with each character's abilities sprinkled in, I didn't even really get time to look at my gear stats or throw something together to try out. I did try to build recommendations from Jack Hackett, production manager at Rocksteady, but I didn't really have enough time to get used to it and how it flowed. However, his excitement about the build possibilities does continue to give me a glimmer of hope. To give you a taste of what just you're looking at, the weapon of afflictions that attach the element effects to the weapons did deep freeze that could cold damage in a period of time. Penguin will let you craft new weapons, shield mods, traversal mods, and grenades. And these are some interesting guns here, like Bugs and Poppin', was also not a damage to permanent, but slow down every enemy within 10 meters. Each character is also a skill tree that each can upgrade, and all the top of the weapons and mods can work together to give you a passive buffs if they're pair. Now, say two Gizmo's gear pieces together to do more burning damage, but the trade-off of the grenades do 50% less damage, but have a 100% chance to burn all hit enemies. He says, now I know I've been really hard on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Technically, you haven't even really talked about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. You talked more about Batman Arkham and child slavery than you did the actual game and the features. I really want to be wrong here about it, but not only is Rocksteady one of my favorite developers, but in a genre one as I've spent far too much time across Destiny, Anthem, and yes, even Marvel's Avengers. But while there's a story here, it makes me wonder where the heck all of it's going. I felt like the preview event less optimistic than I came in, and here, hoping the Suicide Squad wins me back when it releases on February 2nd. Again, I think he went in just straight up going, I don't want a looter shooter in the Arkham. I want Rocksteady to make an Arkham game. Well, that's not what you're getting, okay? And to eat pizza and say, I really wish I was having a hamburger is just ridiculous, okay? When you go in hating a game, you're going to hate it even more. You're going to look at the pieces. Now, here's the couple things that he brought up, okay? In his review that we just read, he brought up a battle bus from Fortnite. He brought Poison Ivy as a child with a bomb in her head that she's a slave. The Flash is too fast, and it's not Batman. Okay? These are the things that he brought up in his review. Here's the things that other people brought up in their review. Okay? There's an emote wheel. There's notorious weapons and different builds and upgrades that you can do. There's no grade of weapons. Once you get a weapon's a weapon. So, when you're leveling up your character, okay, you're just leveling up your character. The guns are going to drop at your level at all times. He didn't bring this up. You can play with others when they're offline. If Sarge is in the game, he's done playing the game, I can literally bring my character or his character into my game and help him get a gun or some gear for him, even though he's not online. All right, they didn't talk about the weapon leveling. They didn't talk about the offline mode that's coming down later. They didn't talk about the day-night cycles. Okay, they didn't talk about the cross-save or cross-play. They didn't talk about the traversal at all. Okay, they didn't talk about the speed force bullets that actually are part of the Flash boss fight. They didn't talk about any of this, but what they did talk about is ridiculous things. Okay, so this is why I don't go to the mainstream areas, because they have a preemptive thing. Instead of judging a game based on what you played, you're judging a game based what you think it should be instead of what it is. Okay? This is a major problem. This is an L for IGN, but it's also a win for IGN because they got well over 200,000 clicks on their YouTube video, and that is the end game for them. Take a bad take, make a stupid report, and then get the clicks for it. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, so let's get to the idioticness of that article. Okay, it's ridiculous on how IGN brought it up. Okay, literally bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with the actual game and your condition what you thought the game was going to be. Man, I don't want to play this game. I want to play the fourth Batman game. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me go back up. Morning, Dolphin. What's going on, Travis? Top of the morning. Already read that. Eric Jones says, doesn't get me excited, but I'll watch a few hours of gameplay before I decide to get it. And Eric, that is the exact thing you're supposed to do, right? Take these guys, all these information that you get, watch people like me that are going to play the game, make an educated choice of what it is, ask questions, okay? But the factor of this article is that he went to a live event to play the game, to ask the devs questions, to play the game, to get stuff. And in this article and in his review video article, they did absolutely nothing of that sort, right? Lejeune yesterday broke it down and how different builds, different things, different grenades, all the stuff that people that are playing the game want to know and tell us more information that we didn't know before. Not that it's not a Batman game. Thanks. I can tell. I can see with my own eyes that it's not Batman Arkham 4, right? You don't need to fix the morality. They're bad guys. Right. Travis says he's a whiny little bitch. My friend's wife never calls anyone that and even said, grow up, you little shit. Quite virtual signaling and freaking video game. Eric Jones says the reviewer seemed mailed in his review. Maybe he doesn't like the game anymore. Maybe. Who knows? Sarge says, I'm sorry. Is this a complaint that the Flash is too fast? Am I listening to the actual retard? That's exactly what it is, 30. I missed who the reviewer's name is. It's Destin Laguerre from IGN. There's no There's no prerequisites for being a reviewer on the planet Earth. No understanding of the product and apparently makes you an expert. Gilly Ghost says, what's going on? What's going on? Gilly? Magic Dolphin says, imagine being upset about a child in a video game. The title was Suicide Squad. Killing it. Yes, that's exactly right. Right? It's a little strange to me, right? I want to go into a little bit more information for you guys, right? Because Game Informer had some of the coming attractions of what they were going to talk about. Okay. So this is something that IGN didn't bring up. Other impression videos did talk about this, but Game Informer talks about the coming attractions at post-launch. It says, I mentioned earlier that you can play Harley, Deadshot, King Shark, Captain Boomerang at launch, but Rocksteady has ambitious plans for how it's supporting Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League following the initial release. After launch, players can expect additional cosmetics added to the title, but more importantly, additional playable characters will join Task Force X. It says, quote, after the main launch of the game will bring you additional seasonal content post-launch, which also bring new missions, new story, Hackett says. As part of the compelling of those missions and stories, you will need to add those characters to the squad. You effectively recruit them as part of the content. And this is awesome because I've actually said this. I said this months and months ago. I said, imagine that you take a story and you play a mission, save somebody, find somebody, and then you unlock that character. I even said maybe you even unlock them. Maybe if you save, and I don't know if this is happening, but what I said was, let's say you did the Flash fight. And instead of killing him, you save him, and then maybe you can unlock him or whatever, right? Again, I don't know if that's happening. I'm just giving you an example of what I was saying, right? So that's pretty cool. So you're going to be able to unlock characters based on the story, and then they become part of the characters of the squad. You'll effectively recruit them, he says. The content will be completely free. No charge for the character's content, and you'll be able to play. Then one day, you log in, and you'll also have the new stuff to do, right? So they're also talking about, this is what a live service is. You don't play Fortnite every single day, but when Fortnite updates something, you go back to Fortnite and you play Fortnite again. Play a game, beat the game, play the game, get tired of the game, put it down, come back a couple of weeks, couple months later, they put something new in it, and you play it again with a different character. So it's something different. They put a new event in, new story, whatever. That's what a live service game should be. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do it right. What I'm saying is that's what it should be. Okay, it says no charge. It's also you'll do that stuff, and hey, now you'll get the character. Now you can keep playing with that character in the future content. I think it's something that people will get excited about. This is what I said about Marvel's Avengers. Those of you that have watched me play Marvel's Avengers, I said it's so stupid how they don't make it like a comic book. You make a story, you get a character, you take that character, you save that character, you find that character, you do something with that character, and then all of a sudden, voila, you have that character. You blend it into the story. It says, while Harley and Deadshot are amongst the most iconic members of the team, Suicide Squad features tens of difference of characters over its many iterations, giving Rocksteady a ton of characters to choose from in the post-launch releases. The characters for us are very important, Chamberlain says. It's kind of a narrative for themselves, but also how does it translate to gameplay? What are their traversals? What are their combat like? I think this continuing game post-launch really gives us an opportunity to bring unique experiences to players to allow us to expand the 4 characters in a very unique way and kind of subvert expectations to bring freshness back into the world of Metropolis and allow players to experience something brand new than they just for the 4 core characters. What I like about this, what I'm hearing, based on the quote from the actual developers, is that even your characters that you have will change over time based on the stuff they put into the game, right? Based on what new content, what new story, they will be putting new movements, new traversal stuff inside the game that maybe you can choose from down the road, which sounds interesting. It says Rocksteady already knows some of the characters is included in the game post-launch, but it's not spilling any of that information now. If you want to find that information, Miller, who's on Twitter, also has a Twitch channel. I don't know if he's streaming right now, streamed this year, but Miller, who's a data miner who has lots of information about when Marvel's Avengers was out and now Suicide Squads. He's got a lot of stuff, so if you want to deep dive into what the characters are and what's happening with the post-launch, it's out there if you want to find it, okay? He says, I'm looking forward to the speculations from players that Suicide Squad DC villains in general are such a wide church that there's also so many fun choices, and I know that we'll get endless suggestions of this person's favorite character. That person's favorite character, Hackett says, we've put a lot of work already and will continue to work on making sure that the characters aren't going to be reskins. Now, they make that point because Marvel's Avengers, they had reskins, right? They had Thor, and then they had Mighty Thor. They had Kate, and then they had Hawkeye, right? There was skin characters that were doing something. Yes, there was different powers and stuff with them, but for the most part, it was reskin. What they also said here, it says that we already put a work already, and we'll continue to work on them to make sure the characters aren't going to be reskins. This is what I said months ago. I said, hopefully the 10-month delay is that they were working on content for the first year. They already have 4 seasons planned that are already ready to go, okay? So this is good news to not happen the same thing that happened to Marvel's Avengers, where Marvel's Avengers was chasing their tail, trying to fix the game, and then they had to catch up, which they never did, okay? So it says there's going to be unique, and they're also going to feel real different. They're going to move differently again, and that kind of finding the fun and how the character moves in the suit and their personality. It's something that really is important to us for the game. I think it's the most exciting, unique gameplay element in many ways. This should tell you, if you are a Rocksteady fan, they did such a good job with Batman Arkham in the past, being such intricate part of the DC comics, and they brought something in and made it feel like the comic. It's not the comics, it's not the movies, it's their own take on Batman. And they put tender, loving care into those characters, and they're doing the same thing here. But the problem is people don't want to give them credit for that. They just want to shit on it because it's a looter-shooter instead of just trying to play the game for what it is, okay? Now, with all the talk, so much substantial post-launch content being free, one key many players have with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is that the monetization will be over-aggressive to the point of impacting the fun players can have without dropping extra cash on premium title. He says, when I asked the team about this, they used it in a way to hopefully clear the air a little. He says, quote, there will be completely optional cosmetic purchases for players who want to go down that route. Hackett says, I think the squad is really fun group and where you can create really unique cosmetics for players to enjoy. I wouldn't want to cut the content off from players behind a charge like it because I think the space for players is to come in, play, enjoy, first and foremost, and then, you know, if you want to buy some cool cosmetics to show off to your friends, that's going to be available to you. Emerging from my hand-on session, he says, I feel like much more confident in Rocksteady's long-awaited follow-up, the critically acclaimed Arkham series, but I still have several questions about it with hesitations surrounding post-launch support, game structure, and monetization efforts, and which is fine to have, okay? But you see, he's worried about it, but he's not judging what he played based on what he's saying right now with the post-launch, okay? So that's one of the things. One of the other things from Game Radar they talk about the battle pass as well. Okay, it says Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will indeed have a battle pass, but developer Rocksteady says it won't offer any sort of gameplay advantages. Rocksteady will continue the legacy of support of the game after its launch. One speaker said that the gameplay showcase released during Sony's State of Play showcase in February, we're going to deliver a lot of new content to our players. We're going to have new playable characters, new weapons, new missions for players who are like customize their looks, and will offer a battle pass that only contains cosmetic items. Rocksteady has confirmed that all new Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League content will be free for 1 year post-launch, including the new characters to be added to the roster of playable anti-heroes. Okay, they also go into Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League as co-op. After the fact, it's going to be offline and online. You can shut that off. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has a full support of 4-player co-op, and you can have your squad configure what you want. With the AI bots filling out the rest of your squad, creative director Stephen Hill has teased seamless drop-in, drop-out functionality. And if you want to play multiplayer with your friends, then you can join in and take on the role of one of the other squad members. The great thing is that the dynamic experience, you can play some of the story single player, some multiplayer, and the whole game is accessible in a single player and multiplayer in and out of those two modes, however you want to do it. There's no word yet from Rocksteady of whether or not the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League crossplay support between PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, however. Warner Bros. Games Interactive is publishing another superhero co-op game this year, Arkham Knight, which has no support for cross-platform multiplayer. Whether this is indecisive of how WB will ultimately handle this aspect of Suicide Squad remains to be seen, but you shouldn't get your hopes up. So, if there's no crossplay, this is a problem, because this is what happened with Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers, the reason they didn't have it at launch, it happened after the fact, but this would be a smart move if they made it cross-play, okay? So across all the platforms, PC, PlayStation, and whatnot. So this is interesting because you can play single, you can bring your AI bots in, I can bring your guys in as my bots, and as they add more characters, the dynamics are actually going to be cool because it's going to be different characters that have different abilities, different things, and you can have all King Sharks, you can have all Boomerangs, different builds for each of those, or you can have all these different characters as you go, which is like the Marvel's Avengers route as well. Well, it doesn't have no crossplay. It just hasn't said anything about the crossplay yet, L. But yeah, it's a big L if they don't have crossplay, because that would be a huge problem. All right, because if Xbox has less players and PlayStation has more players, PlayStation will always have a full lobby like it did in Marvel's Avengers, but Xbox will have a problem, so will PC, right? So hopefully they do the crossplay thing, and if it's not at launch, maybe it comes in after the fact. Again, speculating, don't know any of this off the top of my head. So there's some more information for you about Suicide Squad from the big outlets, okay? Trust who you want to trust, watch who you want to watch. We're going to watch one other video on Suicide Squad from Comicstorian, okay? Now, I've never watched this person's videos on the channel before, but we're gonna watch it on stream now because I did watch it and I thought he had really good insight that other people didn't say, and he spoke not like he was a paid shill. And I'm not saying the other guys were paid shills in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying it feels like the way he's talking about it is more just open free about, you know what I'm saying? He's got concerns and whatnot. So let's take a look. Let me raise it up so you guys can hear him.
It's time. I made an entire video about the controversies of the Suicide Squad. Now it's time to talk about whether or not I liked the game or didn't, and basically, what did I learn from playing the game? But first, it's time to talk about... Oh, hold on. It's time to talk about Suicide Squad.
Real quick, Eclipse says in chat, he says, on their website, they said that the crossplay and cross-progression are ready. There you go.
Why did I pour it from one glass to another? Why not? And for the sake of not getting in trouble, WB did fly me out to LA to meet Rocksteady and play this game. This video is not an ad. I was allowed to say whatever I wanted, but I do have to let you know that I was flown out there on their dime to play the game. So, just so you know the situation, I don't want anyone to say, "What? Anyway, let's move on. Now, for those of you who are here looking for the controversies of Suicide Squad, I covered them all in a video. I discussed my opinions on the leaked storyline and the opinions of the fact that it was a fake leaked storyline and my opinions on the idea of using Kevin Conroy as this being his last role. Just to reiterate the Kevin Conroy situation, the man knew what he signed up for. He picked it. He actually said in his last years that he enjoyed doing an evil Batman, which is why he also came back to do Batman Beyond in the CW as an evil Batman. The link to that video will be down below. It turned out to be quite long of me discussing the controversies, but if you are interested in that, it'll be there. Today's video is going to be discussing the gameplay elements, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, how I feel about it being in the Arkhamverse, and then we're going to be discussing the story elements that I got to experience. We'll also discuss the one controversy I didn't touch on in the previous video, which is the Poison Ivy thing at the very ending. Just figured I'd let you guys know up front what the situation is.
All right, sounds good.
All right, now I'm ready to do that. Let's start it off at the beginning. In order to understand my opinion on this game, I feel like you should understand what kind of gamer I am. I am the multiplayer, looter shooter, MMO, RPG, plays a game because it's a live service because he can never stop playing with his buddies kind of a guy. What I mean is, I play Final Fantasy XIV. I play World of Warcraft. I play Destiny. Wow, I took one sip for the sake of a skit. Come on. I play Destiny. I play Borderlands. I play Lethal Company. I play Fortnite. I play Among Us. What I'm getting at is, I'm the kind of gamer who actually sits down and I look for games that I can play with my group of friends.
That's how I play, right? When I play a game, I dive in and I want to play a game because I like the game.
Now that means that we actually enjoyed Avengers to an extent because any game you play with your friends is more fun. And when a game is broken like Avengers, it leads to more laughs and hilarity. One of the best games that a lot of my buddies like to play is the one that I hate. It's called Ark. And their exact statement is, it is so janky, that's why it's fun. It's also why I don't like Ark. So what I'm saying is, I liked Gotham Knights. I liked Avengers. And I'm telling you now, I enjoyed Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Now, before you leave...
Now, I wanna say something. If you're a person that doesn't like the games that he just mentioned, then you probably won't like this game. So if you don't like this type of game, probably shouldn't watch this type of content, right? I'm just saying. Like, why make yourself angry, right? Why do something that you don't like? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like the game, don't play the game. Don't watch the game. Don't support the game. That's fine. But why shit on the game every minute of every day?
Steve, Katrina, let me explain what I mean by I liked the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Because while I know George and Alex are huge fans of the Arkham franchise, that's why I liked this game. It's not an Arkham game. When we think of an Arkham game, you think of...
That's right. It's not an Arkham game.
Being Batman, that insane sense of power. You think of the ability to sneak around the city, do it stealthily, do it loud, go in with gadgets, go in with crazy reversals and crazy like power-ups and stuff like that. You think about taking out Batman's villains. And that's fun. That's exactly why we like the Arkham franchise. But when I sat down and played Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, I played as Captain Boomerang because one, I wanted to see what Captain Boomerang does with guns and why is it fun or isn't fun. And two, because I want to run fast. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Gotta go faster, faster, gotta go fast. That was me. But playing the game, the best thing, because everyone's like, oh, it looks like Fortnite. It looks stupid. It doesn't look like Arkham. It's not. It's not Arkham. It felt like...
Reach. Say it a little bit louder for the people in the back. It's not Arkham.
Like Crackdown meets Fortnite to me. That's what it felt like. I was running around the city, and this is the first thing I'll tell you about. We're running around the city, and Dan's going to put up some footage of me running around. I'm using the Speed Force, and I'll explain how the boomerang works in a minute, but I'm using the Speed Force to get around. The city is populated with the primary missions you need to go to. But on the way there, you have things like Riddler races, where they put up a bunch of portals, and you need to run through them. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. But what made it more fun was racing against the 3 other people that I was playing with. Because King Shark was beating me. Because he could just jump super long distances. But on top of that, we would then do things for upgrades, such as do a horde mode, where we would spend 10 minutes fighting off a ton of enemies. The enemies would spawn in the buildings around us, adding verticality to our movement on the map. So I would have to do things like use the speed.
How much you want to bet? How much you guys want to bet? Day 2 1 week in, everyone's like, well, it's just the same enemies. Just the same enemies. How much you want to bet?
Speed Force to teleport. Apparently that's an ability that Boomerang can do, and I'll explain that in a minute. To teleport up to a different building, and if I fell short, run across it at Speed Force levels to catch up to the new enemy. Or you would have to do things like rescue the civilians that are showing up. I had a lot of fun trying to throw the boomerang as high as I can to teleport as high up as I can to try and attack the choppers. You know who can't attack the choppers? Captain Boomerang. Our Deadshot took care of that. There was also a lot of fun verticality in the city. There's a whole point, and I doubt we can find the footage for it, where I just stopped running around with the team and I found a way to teleport myself onto a broken bridge that ran throughout Metropolis. I then tried to run through it as fast as I could and not fall off of it. It was just fun moving around. The traversal was insane, and I was having a good time.
Yeah, traversal does look good
with it. Captain Boomerang is more of the up close and personal character, which is actually where I'm going to comment about the boomerang. Everyone's like, how do you feel about Captain Boomerang using guns? First off, Captain Boomerang does use guns, but you're right. He primarily uses his boomerang, and he does in this game as well if you want to. Captain Boomerang throws the boomerang, it's charged with the Speed Force, you teleport to it, and then you can run with more Speed Force. Or you can do melee combat by using the boomerang. I don't know about you, but I've never been to the Australian outback, which is where I assume is the only place that they're going.
Here's the thing, though, Jax, and I've said this in the past, right? When Destiny came out, one of my things was, I said, you know, I really like Destiny, but man, I wish Destiny had a Marvel game like Destiny, or a Transformers game like Destiny, or a Star Wars game like Destiny, because I would like that game better, right? So much so that Marvel came out and tried to do it. I liked it. I played a lot of it. I played 1,100 hours of that game because I like the IP, right? People might like this IP, and people that are playing Destiny or Division or Warframe, because there wasn't a game like this, they might look at this and go, oh, I like DC. I like those characters. Oh, maybe I'm not interested in now. All of a sudden, they put a character that they like into the game, and they're like, oh, dude, I'm going to go play that game. And that's the thing, right? I always find it funny when people play Fortnite and you got the Teenage Mutant Turtles, you got Family Guy, you got Star Wars characters, you got God of War, Halo, and everyone's like, man, you could play these characters in this game. This would be cool if we could just have these characters inside the... Then there's a game that comes out and everyone's like, garbage, right? It's like, if you don't like it, then don't play it, right? Not every game is meant for everybody, but the IPs that people like, if it's a game that they like, if they like looters, but now it's a DC brand or a Marvel brand or a Transformers brand or a Harry Potter brand or whatever it is, that might intrigue more people because they're like, oh, I like this game. I like that IP. Combined, maybe I'll really like that game, right? And the best part is you don't got to buy it day one. You don't got to pre-order. You don't got to day one, week one, month one. You can wait and see if the game is good, bad, see it with your own eyes, ask questions to streamers and other people, and then make an educated choice if you want to buy the game or not. And people don't understand that.
Going to use boomerangs, because who the hell uses a boomerang? I'm pretty sure a boomerang can't go as far as a bullet. Hence why he would use the guns and then the boomerang. The boomerang melee attack is actually very strong, and there's a bunch of cool finishers. There's this one where Captain Boomerang takes the boomerang and he shoves it right up that guy's, and then he just...
Does he really shove it right up that guy's there? I did. Yeah, he does. He shoves it right up that guy's ass. And then he puts it right in the guy's face. Double. Right in the face. Pretty graphical.
And then he just rams that, like splitting him in half.
Hellspawn666 says, I like it more because it's a looter shooter, not the characters. Sorry. That's fine, Spawn. But if you want a good looter shooter, let's say this looter shooter is bad. Cool. Then you go to some other game that you like the looter shooter aspect, right? The people that want to play this because it's a looter shooter / it's a DC character, they're interested in the characters. They are.
Blood and guts and all kinds of stuff is going everywhere. And it's awesome. It's so cool to see the things that he can do.
That's how you get pink eye. Yeah, you know. I hope he wipes and sterilizes that before he throws it into someone else's eye socket.
With the boomerang. But he has to use the gun, because otherwise I'm running around trying to melee everybody while Deadshot is sniping them from across the map. I feel like the use of the guns for the characters is more as an equalizer, because if King Shark and Captain Boomerang need to use their melee abilities primarily, and Deadshot kills everyone, that's not fun. If you've ever played a co-op game with your buddies and you're trying to run around and do the melee stuff, you notice that you don't get a lot of kills in. That's because your friends are killing them. But it makes more sense.
Right, Akuta Baba, right? I hate Fortnite, but Lego Fortnite is extremely fun. Right. Something that you like and something you don't like, and you give it a shot and you actually like it.
If everybody has a gun. Because what I was doing is running around with an assault rifle, and I'd swap over to the submachine gun as I got closer, and if I got to the enemies, then open up with my boomerang melee abilities. King Shark played the exact same way, except that he could leap massive distances, to the point where it was kind of funny that I couldn't run that fast. Why would Captain Boomerang use the Speed Force and not run that fast? The answer is simple. He's using a broken gadget from the Hall of Justice that doesn't really work like the Speed Force, but it saps some of the power. So he can't run at Flash level speeds, which is funny when I get to the Flash boss fight. Playing the game, running around the city in general, felt good. The traversal was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
I think it's funny. Did you just read my mind, El? Did you just read my mind? I'm actually thinking, because he plays more like the Hulk from Marvel's Avengers, I was thinking about doing King Shark. But I'm looking. I don't know who I want yet, but I'm leaning more towards King Shark.
Playing the characters felt good, and every character felt 100% unique from each other. Captain Boomerang, I was able to throw the boomerang around. And
I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to play all the characters, and I'm going to level them all up. And then when the next character comes in, I'm going to level that character up. That's just the gamer I am. But I think the first person I'm starting with might be King Shark.
Warp to it at top speeds.
But doesn't mean it's going to be my main character, because when Marvel's first came out, I was a Thor guy. And then I switched to Hulk, and then I never looked back.
And then do crazy melee attacks. King Shark had this awesome minigun, but then he would just leap into the middle of combat and just wreck everyone. Harley Quinn's like grappling hook all over the place, using the Batarang to throw it up there and then hook to it and go. And Deadshot's using a jetpack to fly around.
Now, they did say, and this is something IGN didn't mention because they were talking about sex trafficking with little children. They didn't talk about the traversal. The traversal for each of the characters, okay, it wasn't sex trafficking. It was slavery for children. They were talking about, or they weren't talking about traversal, but the traversal, the developers said, it feels like that one might be faster than the other, but all of them are pretty equal across the board, okay? Because once you start learning the way the traversal works and get familiarized with each of the characters, each one, you might think that Shark jumps farther and you're slower, but the point of when he starts to fall and then you can sporadically throw your boomerang faster or swing double jump with Harley, they all about the same speed.
Around and do sniper shots. Nothing I just said sounds like an Arkham game. That's what I'm getting at when I try to describe the kind of gamer that I am. This sounds like a fun time with your buddies. In terms of the actual story segments, the story itself felt like Arkham. The way the story was being told.
I'm glad he's saying that, because that's exactly why I want to play the game. Because I trust in Rocksteady to make a good story, and he's saying that the story feels like an Arkham.
Characters acted like their Arkham counterparts. Batman acted like Batman from Arkham. The story itself felt on the level and quality from what I got to play, which was only a small section of Chapter 3. I want to throw that caveat out there right now in case this was the polished story segment and the rest of it's just a mess. What I got to play felt on par with the Arkham storytelling and the cutscenes and on like what I'm looking for. From what I got to play, it looks like Rocksteady has put together a fun co-op version of Batman that they're going to turn into a live service, and I'll comment the live services in a minute. Now let's talk about the characters and what you can do with them in general. One thing that I really, really did enjoy, there is no leveling up in the game.
Now, have you heard him say anything about the bus or how this isn't Batman Arkham? He's talking about that it's not Batman Arkham, right? In a positive way of saying, like, this game is not Batman Arkham, where the other one was complaining that it wasn't Batman Arkham and that the children are slaves and there's Fortnite battle buses. He's breaking it down and actually giving you information that you can justify going, am I interested in this game or am I not interested in this game?
Anybody who has played Destiny or Avengers or Gotham Knights or any of these co-op story-driven games with their buddies knows the annoyance when you get halfway through the story and your other buddy buys the game and now you have to start over because he's not at the right level to play with you and you can't really go to him because you're going to destroy everything. So it turns into you hard carrying your buddy, or it turns into your buddy having to play alone and you can't play without him. They removed levels in their entirety from what I noticed. What we're getting instead is just skill points.
That's a good feature. How come I didn't say that? Now, my question yesterday, right? The question that I had yesterday was, what happens when you find a gun at level 4 and find a gun at level 10 or find a gun at level 30? Well, this answers my question. There is no levels for guns. There is no levels to your character. It's just about getting skill points and leveling them up all the way so they're more powerful at that point. Okay? Which is great.
So there's like a...
That makes it so much more. Yes, you're leveling up the character to get the skill points, to use the skill points and the thing. So when a new character comes in, you can use the same weapons you already have, give them that weapon, and they're automatically already doing the damage, but they're doing less damage because you still have to play the character to get the skill point to put into the skill to make whatever weapon better for that character.
Light level system. We're all kind of on the same playing field except for the skill points. It's not like I'm going to be stronger than my friend by baseline because of that. The guns are also not at levels. Anybody who's played Borderlands...
How come that wasn't said by IGN? Right? Right? No levels. Guns are at no level.
Borderlands or Destiny will know how amazing that feels. Because the most annoying thing ever when playing a game that has loot is when you get the loot at a low level and then you have to throw it away because this random garbage gun is so much better than what you...
All right, I want to rewind here for a second.
Because of that. The guns are also not at levels. Anybody who's played Borderlands or Destiny will know how amazing that feels. Because the most annoying thing ever when playing a game that has...
It says up here, it says like DPS for the gun. There's damage points, critical hit damage, capacity, fire rate. There is no gear score anymore. It doesn't look like it.
Loot is when you get the loot at a low level.
Now, you can get the loot at the low level that he's talking about. And you can see, like, if you got this at the blue level, it's a 4% traversal attack resource from melee hit. But if you get it at the purple level, it's a 37% melee damage electrical enemies.
Level, and then you have to throw it away because this random garbage gun is so much better than what you picked up. I asked them about that. I'm like, are the guns just never going to be at levels, or is this the build you're letting me play? And their response was, we didn't want you to have to replace guns. Instead, all the weapons, gear, and everything about it is all going to play into a certain build idea that we had in mind.
Now I have a question. Okay, now I have a question. See, yesterday when I was talking about this, because we didn't have any really information on this, okay, I think you're right, Winzo, about the gear score, because I made a video last year. I think there was a gear score. We'll go back to that video in a bit, right? I have a question, though, now, because now, if I have a certain build, let's say I'm doing a Lex Luthor, I don't know, electric build, okay? And that electric build, I happen to find this gun at a very low level, which means it doesn't matter anymore because that level is of the gun. There's only like 7 types of gun classes. I wonder how many types of guns there in the game. I wonder if it's like Borderlands-esque type of game where there's like hundreds, maybe thousands of guns, but there's only 5 or 7 classes of guns. I want to know how that works, because if I find let me make an example of Destiny. Let's say I have the Icebreaker and I find this sniper rifle. It's just OP as hell. Is that gun going to be able to do everything for me? Why do I need the other guns? Or am I using this gun in a specific build, and that build makes it a better thing, not the actual gun itself? That'll be interesting. So can you level up guns? I don't know. Let's watch and find out.
So, for example, one of the build, they gave me all the guns and the equipment to make a build called Turkey Shoot work. What that does, and I do know I got some of that footage for Dan to see, is I can freeze the enemies, which pops them into the air using the Speed Force, and then it's a turkey shoot. I can just blast them all as I want. And then when they land, I just start ripping into them with my boomerang. That was just one of 4 possible builds in the test build that we got to play. That's where the game's progression seems to be. Unlocking costumes, working on your skill set, and getting guns that you can actually just use whenever you feel like they're going.
Okay, so am I getting again, I'll use a sniper rifle, right? I get one sniper rifle. This sniper rifle has electric. Same sniper rifle drops, but now it has poison. Down the road, I find at level 30, same sniper rifle, but now it has, I don't know, purple damage on it, whatever that purple damage is. Is that what I'm looking? So now I have a purple build, right? But I'm like, oh man, I would really like a purple sniper rifle with the purple poison damage on it. And I don't have one. But all of a sudden, I find the purple damage, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the gun I was missing. And now that completes my build. If that's the way it's happening, now I have other questions, okay? My other question is, how many loadouts do we have? How many loadouts can you have per character? Are there loadouts? We don't know if they're loadouts, right? But now I want to know, okay, now we're going up against Lex Luthor. I need an electric gun. I don't have an electric gun. Well, let me go farm an electric gun. Who drops an electric gun? Does Flash drop an electric gun? Does Green Lantern drop an electric gun? Who's dropping an electric gun? What's the chances of me getting it? Can I farm that so I can get that weapon, right? What's the percentage of chance? See, this is where my brain goes when you tell me certain things like this, because now if there's not a gear score, I'm not leveling up weapons, then I'm looking for specific weapons like Borderlands. And if I find that drop from that boss, I'm gonna just keep grinding that boss until that percentage of that gun drops. If that's the thing, then I'm in heaven right now, because I would love that to go, okay, well, this guy drops this weapon. I want that weapon for my build, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But I don't know if that's what it is. Sarge says, this is why devs are very concerned about the release, and why they gave the selective streamers to talk about it. They're worried the purpose in-game is important. But I think the bigger groups didn't say anything about this stuff. This is the first person that I know that's talking about the leveling and whatnot.
Going to be fun to use. You're running around the city doing...
Let me rewind it a little bit.
Unlocking costumes, working on your skill set, and getting guns that you can actually just use whenever you feel like they're going to be fun to use. You're running around the city doing races. You're doing rescue the prisoners or rescue the survivors, and you're doing horde mode stuff. And then you're doing story-driven things. That seems to be the general flow of the game from what I got to play. Again, I want to say, from what I got to play. Now let's talk about the Flash. We'll be able to use a little bit of the footage.
Window says, I see the structure kind of the gear score. Because, you know, the goal to work towards the next challenge, etc. So how am I supposed to know if I'm good enough to get the next content? I think it would be just like any other game where you get to a certain point, you get gear checked a little bit. Maybe that fight would be, let's say, 10 minutes long if you didn't have the right gear. And then you know what you have to, you know, to get him down. So then you go grind for that gear, come back when you have that gear type of thing.
Footage here. None of this footage is mine. They gave us some B-roll of the Flash's fight going well. But I'll tell you the story of what happened in my particular fight. So the way the game ends up working out is we end up going out there, and it's almost Mega Man style. You need to find a way to defeat the Flash. The Flash is able to outrun everything. I'm going to give Dan a cutscene right now.
Imagine that. Mega Man and Flash outrunning people.
That we're allowed to use, and shows Deadshot trying to just shoot the Flash. It's hilarious.
Take the shot already!
That's the Flash? You might as well post him the bullet. Did you get him?
Send that clip to IGN, would you?
Speed demon! Man, you know it's gone to hell when you... Really? Why don't you just mail me the bullet?
So what ends up happening is you go on a quest for Toy Man, Toy Master, Toy Guy, Toy Boy. He's not the Toy Man we're used to. Let's just go with that. And it's basically to find a way to slow the Flash down temporarily using anti-Speed Force bullets.
That sounds fun. You have to have bullets, Speed Force bullets, okay, to then hurt him to make him stand still long enough so you can do damage. What's the problem with that?
Not anti-Speed Force boomerangs. Sorry, Captain Boomerang fans. And basically the way it works is we go into combat and you have to use these anti-Speed Force bullets to stop the Flash slow enough so that you can actually do damage to him. It doesn't kill him or injure him. It slows him so that we can actually hurt him. To me, I got very much Mega Man vibes off of that. You know, where you go do something to get the power to do this thing to the boss.
Go do the thing to get the power to then go up against the boss. Imagine that. Look at that, Sarge. We talked about this for other games about the Mega Man thing.
That's what it felt like to me. You then proceed to fight the Flash in what was a pretty epic battle. Now, in our battle, it ran down to me and one other person. I want to say King Shark. We were the only two alive, or maybe Deadshot. It was down to the two of us. I'm at top speed running around the map trying to outrun Speed Force tornadoes while running into Speed Force tornadoes, because you try running at top speed around a map avoiding tornadoes when there's tornadoes in front of you. It's not easy. It's like a minute to get the hang of Captain Boomerang, all right? And we're taking shots of the Flash. What happens is you end up defeating the Flash, right? As we all know. And the name of the game is what actually happens. The Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Or do they? We're shown an off-panel. We're shown basically that Captain Boomerang kills him, but we don't actually see the death. Now, that could mean he's alive. That could mean that they injured him. It could mean a number of things. That could mean they kill him. Who knows what's actually happening? But it's implied that Captain Boomerang does it, and it is in seeing it in the video, in the actual cutscene. And it's also implied that he's kind of heartbroken about it.
So we don't kill him, but we do kill him. It's implied that you kill him. Okay.
Now, there is something I forgot to mention about the actual combat, and I want to bring it up here because I mentioned Speed Force bullets to slow guys down. A lot of you are going to be like, well, what about the classic Rocksteady combat, where you can do classic counters and stuns and stuff like that? They actually have guns for that, as weird as that is. So, like, certain enemies can do two different things, which in my version, we had two different things you could do. And you have different moves where you whip out another gun to do a counter or a stun. So that's still in there with the guns, which I...
So you hear what he said. Right? It's not fists. You're not doing the counter move with your fists, but you're doing it with the guns. Right?
I found to be a bit weird. But once I got the hang of it, it really flowed well. And that's pretty much the game in my opinions on it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed my time with it. Will it be as fun alone? I can't vouch for that. Any game that I've ever played is just a blast when it comes to playing it with friends. Like I said, you can get the jankiest, most broken game ever, Avengers, and it's fun when you've got three of your buddies all joking around, all going, look at me, look how stupid I am. Oh no, I'm stuck in the wall. You know, it's just fun. But the game does have an offline mode and stuff like that. Now let's talk about the live service element. I'm a firm believer that a live service is a good thing. And I know that's the pitchforks and the torches are coming out. But here's the caveat. The live service has to be done properly. If you look at a game like Fortnite.
That's right. And I've talked about this many, many times about this game. I said this game lives or dies based on the content they do after the game, right? It doesn't die with the end game. It matters what villains they bringing in, what characters they bringing in, how they get me to come back to the game to keep playing the game, right? That is the main thing. And I said that hopefully they've been working on this in the 10 months that they've had to finish out the full year so there's content, okay?
It's amazing what they do with that live service. Like, you at no point will you go, oh, you want to play Fortnite? Oh, that game's so old. I beat it so long ago. No, you're going to go, oh, man, what have I missed in Fortnite? Destiny.
That's right. Fortnite, you don't play. I said it earlier. Fortnite, you don't play and then beat it and then put it down. You play it. You're tired of playing it. You put it down. Those of you that do put it down. And you come back next season. You beat the battle pass, you get the thing, you get the skins, whatever, and then you move on.
Sometimes gets it right. Sometimes they don't. It's very debatable. I mentioned Destiny, and Dan's watching this to make sure I don't flub up any stupid stuff, and he literally went, But look at things like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. There's a constant flow of content. In my opinion, what makes a good live service versus a bad live service is not a roadmap or whatever. It's just constant things to do.
Exactly right. Constant stuff, not chasing your tail, fixing your game, and then trying to implement it while you're fixing the game.
constant content. The moment I get tired of a live service is when there's nothing to do. So if you tell me that there's going to be a Suicide Squad game with free characters and free updates that all play into a live service, and there's going to be multiple seasons that are already planned out, supposedly we have 4 seasons already planned, so you're telling me that I have a game that I can play for a couple of weeks, get some fun skins, get off the game, and then come back in 2 months and play the game again with a new character and my old skins, and then just keep going. I'm on board at that. Now, I like it. But again, it comes down to a live service being handled well and how it's monetized. That's a whole video in itself. I'm not going to go into that here, but it sounds like they're giving away free content in Suicide Squad Kills of the Justice League, which means that they're probably going to be making you buy the battle pass and they're making you buy costumes.
And I do remember someone saying that you get a token, your first token. It might be something like Diablo. I'm not really too sure, where you have everyone gets a token for the first battle pass or a battle pass. Now, if they force you to use that token, I have no idea. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I heard rumors that there is a token that you get, that you'll get the battle pass. You can use it on the first battle pass. You can use it on the 4th battle pass, whatever. And then you'll pay for all the other battle passes if you want to get the battle passes.
And if that's what it boils down to, I'm on board with this live service. Buts around. But if you don't want that, from what we've seen leaked and what's going on and what they've said, the game is an offline mode. You can just go play the baseline.
And that is the saving grace. If you don't like any of that, you don't want a battle pass, you don't want to do this stuff, just go play the game offline. Play the single player, play the game, level up your character, put it down, play it as much as you want, don't play it at all, whatever you want to do. That's another good aspect.
Story, get to the ending and call it a day. That's the end of that. And that is, in my opinion, the best situation. WB wants a live service that's never going to end, and you're telling me that the story of Brainiac and the Suicide Squad will end, but then have continual adventures? I'm on board. But if you're a gamer who just wants to get to the end of the game, complete it, and be done, you also have that option.
Right. That's exactly what I've said. It's just a single-player game. If you don't want to pick up the single-player game because you don't want to pay $70, then wait until it goes on sale. Wait 6 months. Wait 8 months, right? Until it comes out at a cheaper rate, and then pick it up later. Do a Gotham Knights. Do a Marvel's Avengers.
Themes. So now I've gotten to this point in the video. Let me just give you my opinion on the Poison Ivy controversy, since I haven't. For those who don't know what the Poison Ivy controversy is, one of the trailers shows Poison Ivy revived, but as a child. Then Harley Quinn is talking to Poison Ivy, and the internet at large took that as Harley Quinn is hitting on Poison Ivy.
That's because they're idiots.
I have seen that full clip. Okay?
You mean context? Oh, okay.
Explain. I have seen the full clip. It's in my video feed. I was actually at the chapter we played at. Harley Quinn, as far as I'm concerned, is not hitting on Poison Ivy. Why would people assume that she is?
Because they link the comics or the animated series or anything else that's not part of the game, not part of the actual world that Rocksteady built, and they make assumptions. Is that what you're going to say?
Because after the first Arkham game, when there was no relationship between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, the rest of the DC universe kind of established this Harley Quinn Poison Ivy relationship to the point where Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are dating in the Harley Quinn cartoon show. So people see her making a comment at a young Poison Ivy, and they just assume that
that's right. They're idiots.
Harley Quinn is hitting on a young Poison Ivy. I've played that whole segment out and gotten Poison Ivy back to where she has to go. My take was that they were not in any way anything beyond we know each other and we're friends. There was never anything that came across to me as a romantic gesture or a romantic implication. Nothing. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong, but I'm just...
Right, they're going to tell you you're wrong because they didn't play the game and they're just assuming.
telling you what I saw playing that chapter.
That's right.
Okay? And that's pretty much it. I think I covered all the general gameplay questions. Again, if you want to know more about the whole leaked storyline, opinions on everything, what's going on, and my opinions on the leaked story and what I think is going to happen, because all I got to play was that chapter. Starts with Harley Quinn, ends with the death of Flash, or death. So I don't know anything else outside of that. That chapter was very solid. The gameplay was fun. The story felt like an Arkham game to an extent. The characters and tone all felt right. But then you had the Suicide Squad humor and jokes, which I found to be really funny. It was really hilarious, a lot of the stuff they did in that. But outside of that, if you have any other questions, comment them down below, and I will be...
All right. His information's down below in the description below. Give him a like, give him a follow, give him a sub. Go check out his videos. I've never watched his stuff before, but I will start watching more of his stuff now. So that is Comic Storian. So check him out. Much bigger than I am. Got 2.97 million subscribers. So I'm a nobody compared to these content creators that I'm actually watching and commenting on. So good information by him. Very good information by him. Now we have other stuff that I'll go into. So I'm gonna put here's what I'll do. I'm gonna take chat off the screen right now. Okay. I'm gonna mention a couple of things that not spoilers for stories in any way, shape, or form. Just tidbit information that Miller posted on Twitter, so it's out there in the public. So if you don't want to know anything about the spoilers, I will put the chat back up when I'm done talking about the spoiler type of stuff if you don't want to know. Okay? So, I'm going to start now. So, either lower your volume or come back in a couple of minutes. It might take 30 seconds. It might take a little longer, but I will put the chat back up on screen when I'm done talking about it. So, a couple of the endgame things that have been, take it with a grain of salt, might be a rumor, but I'll take the source because I trust the source, okay, which is Miller. Okay, he's data mined and knows a lot of stuff about the game, the inner outer workings and what's going to happen. But take it again with a grain of salt. Okay, so there's parts in this game that are going to be expanding the map. So the map is what the map is, whatever the map is, and then there's sections that you can't get to yet. So season 1. They might open up a big chunk of the map. There's going to be different stories, different characters in that. So every time a new section opens up, you're going to get new story, new character, and new area. Okay? So every time there's going to be a new section of the map, and the map keeps getting bigger and bigger. There's also going to be multiple characters. Okay? Multiple characters coming into the game. I don't want to tell you the names of the characters that I know, but there's going to be multiple characters. Again, this could be like Marvel's Avengers, where they never even see the light of day based on if the game is broke or not. There's also other maps. Now, we don't know if those maps, and I'll be very generic with that. There's also other maps that are not part of Metropolis that you're going to be able to go to. Now, if that is another full-fledged map, I have no idea, but there'll be other areas outside of Metropolis that are not connected to the map that you can actually go to, and we will have missions and whatnot there. There's also lots and lots of endgame content. So hopefully, the way it sounds, I've always talked about the upside down triangle. It sounds like it's an upside down triangle where you start the game and then you work your way, and there's more things to do as you level up, as the game progresses and stuff. There's more things to do. Okay? So hopefully those things are true and it actually comes to fruition. But again, they want to support this game for a minimum 3 years. So if it works out, again, if it's not broke, buggy, and unfinished when it comes out, they don't have the same blueprint as Marvel's Avengers and crash and burn, then you can see, okay? But it also could be done in 1 year because they don't get the support that they're supposed to get or whatnot. And then you just play it for what it is. All right, so there you go. That's what I know based off of what Twitter knows, because I'm not like special or anything. These are things that are already out there. So I'm just giving you a heads up there for those of you that are on the fence going, I don't know. Should I get it? Should I not get it? Is this going to happen? Water says they're smart. They took the 10 extra months to work on the year's worth of additional content, and then the year after release, after have year 2, and so on. That's what I think they did, but we'll see. All right. Chat's back up. We're going to move on from the Suicide Squad spoiler stuff there. If you didn't want to know the spoiler stuff, we're now done talking about the spoiler stuff. Yeah, look, I'm not here to hit you if you get the game. Okay. What I am gonna do though is if you got a hard on for games you hate, you might want to reevaluate what you're doing on the internet. Right? Like watch content, watch games, read news, the things that you're interested in, and not the stuff that you're not interested in. Unless you just really love hating on shit, then by all means continue doing what you're doing. But moving forward, when that game comes out, if you're not a Suicide Squad fan or you like watching my content, we're going to be playing a crap ton. And I mean a crap ton of Suicide Squad. Okay? Those of you that maybe came in after the fact and don't know the kind of content that I create when I play games, I'm a looter guy, man. I like playing looter shooters. I like playing those types of games. When Transformers comes out, we're going to be playing the shit out of that. Suicide Squad comes out, we're going to be leveling up every single character. I don't care if everyone on the planet Earth hates that game. I'm going to be playing that game, knowing the ins and outs, what kind of builds to make, and I'm gonna enjoy my time. So that's what's going to happen. Dog Gaming says, I want it to be good and play a decent game. I think if you're just playing the game for the story, I think you're going to get a game. If you're going to look at this game and go, well, this is not Arkham. They should have made Arkham. They should have made a Superman game. They should have done something else. I think you're literally going up the wrong tree. All right. Let's move on from Suicide Squad. And I'm going to make more videos on Suicide Squad. Talks, news stories, different things. That's what we do. Here's actually one more thing I want to talk about. Rocksteady right now, the biggest mistake they're doing, okay, is that they don't open it up to everyone that played. Say it. Open it up. The NDA that everyone played, okay, just open it up. Let people speak about the game. Let people speak about the game. Not just the content creators that got flown out to a spot. A shit ton of people played this game. Right? A shit ton of people played this game. Drop the NDA. Drop it. There's nothing that they're going to say that you haven't already said from the people that played the game and what's going on. All the content that they've shown, okay? All the content that they've shown of all the previews, all the dev stuff, the early access they gave to these people, we've seen everything that we got our hands on, okay? So why not open it up to everybody to then start? Sure, there might be more people shitting on the game because now they can speak, but let them speak. The marketing right now to me is kind of weird that they even did this, fly people out, talk about just the, 100 people, whatever it is, when literally millions of people played the game. Millions. Because not only do they have millions of people that got codes, but then those people gave out codes to their friends. We have multiple millions of people that played this game, and everyone has an NDA, and everyone's just sitting on it going, well, I can't say anything about it. Just open it up for everyone to speak and be done with this. Be done with this. But they probably won't do that until after next week when the, or not, actually, it's not next week, it's 2 weeks from now. When they do the third dev diary or whatever it is. Developer showcase. I think it's the 24th. That's my guess. Just because they did it November 20th. They did it December 22nd. And they'll probably do it January 24th. It's just weird, man. Like, why? Again, everything they've shown, all the trailers, the gameplay, the just all that stuff is stopped behind an NDA that everyone that played can say about the stuff that they've already shown. But whatever. All right. It would be awesome if they really wanted to hope that the game is gives us a sneak peek of some of the after campaign content to look forward to. After this, they'll shadow drop everything. Maybe. All right, so next story we're going to talk about. If you guys like what we do here, do this Monday through Thursday, 9 o'clock, about noon Eastern. Go over news stories, give you my thoughts and opinions. We have conversations with chat live. So I read the story, do a breakout video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Steam's peak player count proves that the power of the PC gaming. Now, recently, Steam peak player count smashed through the previous all-time high record on the platform. Out of nowhere, Steam's top CCU reached heights of 33 million, sitting comfortably on top of a previous all-time high of records in March of 2023. Over time, Steam's platform has become more populous, providing the exploring increase of power of the PC market and the growth of the industry in general. Now, the exponential growth, if you take a glance at Steam's DB handy charts, you can also see a clear as well as defined path of growth on Steam, which is a number of destination of users looking to buy, download, and play games on PC. This weekend, a whopping 33.6 million people were online at the same time on Steam. Since 2020 and the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic, PC gaming has seen a considerable boom. For a while, hardware is available. Everyone has a home building their rigs, and content creation, which is primarily a PC-based pursuit, was exploring in popularity for the most part and trend to continue across the board. There also might be a global downturn, the number of users consuming create content and live streams, but the number of people playing games through Steam has only skyrocketed. Over the last few years, it also has been some of the monumental releases over the last year that have also contributed massively to those figures through Hogwarts Legacy, Counter-Strike 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, update and DLCs, Sons of Forest, and the finals. Most commonly, you'll see the Valve's games topping the Steam charts with Counter-Strike, Dota 2, and often being standout titles gamers around the world and enjoying in the hundreds of thousands and even at any given moment. Now, why is this happening? Here's my thoughts of why I think this is happening. I think majority of the people that everyone talks about the PlayStation fan base and the Xbox fan base and the console wars and stuff. And I think a lot of people are just tired of it. I think a lot of people are just tired of the, should I get Xbox? Should I get PC? What's going to happen? And right now, it's better to get a PC because down the road, PlayStation will be releasing their games a year or two after the game comes out, and Xbox releases them day and date. So you're not really losing out on anything that Xbox is doing because they're putting their games out on PC and Xbox at the same time. And then also PlayStation's not at the exact same time, but their games will come down the road and PC gamers will just wait and wait and wait because they'll play something else because there's thousands of other things to play. Okay. So the only one that's outside the realm is Nintendo. And I think PC gamers also own a Nintendo Switch. That's why Nintendo Switch has got 133 million because kids, and like I said, Nintendo sells from birth to death, meaning from when you're born at the age of 0, okay, someone hands you a Nintendo and says, have fun, and then you turn it back in whenever you die. If that's when you're 99 or 105, it doesn't really matter. Everyone loves Nintendo. But it's this minority of gaming console idiots that like to tell you what box they like. And most people are like, you know what? I'm just going to get a PC because the PC, I don't have to worry about the companies lying to me about 30, 60, 120 frames. Okay. I can just get a PC, spend the extra money. And not only is it a thing that I can play games on, I can surf the web, I can watch the internet shows. You can do everything that you want on the actual PC. Sure, it's 3 times the amount, double or triple the amount of what it was for a console. But in the long run, I think you're better off getting a PC and just waiting. I'm in the same ballpark. I don't know if I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 Pro when it comes out. What's the point? Okay, I would rather go get a PC, upgrade my card, and just wait for those games to come out. I'm a person that has a Switch. I have an Xbox, and I don't own a PlayStation. Okay, I own a PlayStation 4, but I don't own a PlayStation 5. And I'll just wait for their games to come out because I don't need to buy, doesn't matter what company it is, I don't need to buy games day 1, week 1, month 1, year 1. I can wait until those games go on sale and pick them up at a later date and then have a better experience on a higher end graphics card, and all the other stuff on my PC. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Why do you think Steam is blowing up and more people are playing, or why Steam is the highest it's ever been? Do you think more people are going out and they're tired of the gaming console war? Let me know in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you liked what we do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Mo says, PC, no go. Well, Mo, there's more people on PC than on Xbox. Those are facts, right? There's more people on PC than on PlayStation. There's more people on PC than on Nintendo. PC is the way, but I still like buying physical media. Oh, sure, Jason. There's people that like that, just the comfort. Like, there's nights that I'm playing that I don't want to sit at my desk. Right? I don't want to sit at my desk. Right? I want to go sit on a couch, put a controller in my hand, and you could do that. You can get the Steam controller and stream it to your television set and whatnot. But there's just that moment sometimes. It's like, I don't want to sit in this chair anymore. I don't want to sit at the desk. I prop my feet up the game. I love console, right? But again, it's not like I have one or the other. I have both. Right? I want both. Not because I'm a streamer. I've had computers my entire life. Right? I've had my computer my entire life. We started, I think the very first computer we had, and Sarge could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think was the Apple IIc. There might have been one before. I don't remember the name though. But I'm pretty sure it's the Apple IIc. Okay. I remember playing like Summer Olympics and California Games and Police Quest and King's Quest and stuff like that on the old floppy and whatnot, right? I've had computers in my life the entire life. Right? Yeah, there you go. First computer, Apple IIc, right? And I've also had consoles my entire life, right? I've never been in the mentality of, well, if you have an Atari or if you have a Sega and you have a Nintendo, like, we literally got what we were interested in. Like, we never got the Sega Master System, but we bought a Sega Genesis. Now, I had a friend that had the Sega Master System, right? And I would go to his house and play it. If I'm feeling lazy, I just turn on the Xbox and fire up a game. It's easier. But the quality of the actual gaming session PC can't be beat. Right. Papa says, Apple IIa. The only thing different with the upgrade to the 2C was a better start button. I remember it. I mean, you could pick up the keyboard like a suitcase. And the monitor, which was a very tiny monitor, would just sit up on top of the actual keyboard. Right? Because that was the computer. You put the little CRT on top of it. Here's what the computer looked like. They had the fancy thing where they have the stand. I don't remember the stand. Mine literally just sat on top, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Like, I don't remember this piece here. I remember just putting the computer on top of this. Am I mistaken, Sarge? Did we have that stand? I don't remember the stand. God, I remember that screen and that keyboard. Yeah, no stand. I don't remember the stand. Yeah, there was no stand. It was just, God, I remember that. And you had to know code to get into games. there was no operating system. There was no operating system. Like, if I wanted to play a game, you had to put slash, you know, and you had to boot up the game. Now I turn it on, click on a button, and boom, everything just goes. I don't have to sit here and go, right? I mean, decades. You had DOS prompt, you had to go in. Yeah. Right? People don't even know that there was no operating systems back in the day. Water. You just saying the dial-up sound, I can hear it. I can hear it in my head. Yeah, you've got mail. Got mail? Right? So I love PC. I've always loved PC. Okay? But as you grow up, though, you kind of get out of it, right? Because when you're a kid, you got a PC because your parents gave it to you for birthday or Christmas or whatever, right? Maybe it was a family computer. You use it on the weekends or whatnot. But as you get older, then you're making your own money. You're saving up. And you have to buy, do I buy a console? Do I buy a PC? Do I buy a car? Am I taking a girl out? Like, what? Like, yeah, you have things to do. You start getting responsibilities and something has to fall off. So then you're like, I don't know, right? My first DVD player was on a Gateway PC. Okay, I remember the upgrade. I was like, oh, wow. I got a DVD player. I'm like, right? Brought a girl home, right? We sat on my bed and watched the movie on my PC with a DVD player. Woo! Rich. Boy's got his own DVD player. A computer. That screen was, I think the screen was 16 inches. Yeah, mom picks up the phone. Ma, out the phone. I'm playing online. You had to schedule your time, right? You're like, I'm playing from 6 o'clock to 7. Do not pick up this phone. Don't pick up the phone. Okay, I won't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. All right, mom's not on the phone. Right, we got an hour to play. Ring, ring, ring. Don't pick up the phone. Hello? Ah, you're like, and you get kicked off. You're like, Ma. You had to book it. You had to sign the book. Can I play video games on Friday from 6 to 7? Yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Then 6 to 7 comes on Friday. She's on the phone and you're like, friends are waiting for me. Walking around the house with a long cord wraps around like your kitchen. Got smart later. Got separate line. Fancy. That's fancy, Mo. That's rich people talk. 2 lines. Are you a millionaire? Easy to control your kids' amount of screen time. If they're acting up, just pull the phone. That's right. Bondage. You're talking like late 90s now. I'm still in the 80s. I was still in the late 80s. The 90s is with the DVD player and stuff like that, yeah. What was the TeamSpeak? TeamSpeak was like Discord back then, right? Was there another one? There was TeamSpeak and there was I'm trying to think of the other one that you could play online. That was next level. That was next level. TeamSpeak, Team Chat, is that what it was called? Give me 1 second. GameSpy? Spy. TeamSpeak was 2001. GameSpy? GameSpy was 1999. Napster and stuff. Yeah, that's in the early 2000s. It says, I remember sneaking to school library to play RuneScape on PC because I didn't have access to a PC at home. Yeah. And look where we are now. We're like spoiled rotten. We're living the best life right now. Like right now, if you have a computer, a cell phone, you're chatting away, you're at work, watching multiple things, like you're living the best life right now. You might think you're not, but you're living the life right now. I think it was AOL in but AOL was that late 90s? AOL was that early? No, AOL was there. It might have been AOL back in like 96, 97. It was Netscape. Netscape was the browser. The sailboat was the thing, right? I remember our schools were like switching over to it and stuff. That Netscape logo. Hold on. This is what I remember when you... Oh, that's not it. There's got to be another one with the old ship. Sailboat for some reason. Earthlink. Yeah, that's another one. I guess it was just a ship wheel, what it was. Yeah, when Google came out, it was over. Google came out and just destroyed everybody. Destroyed everybody. All right, let's go with the next story here. Let's go with the next story. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about third-party rumors raise questions about Xbox long-term strategy. I always find this funny about long-term strategy. Like, I can't be the only one that thought what their long-term strategy was, right? So, most of the online video game discourse yesterday was centered around a handful of rumors about Xbox taking some of the hits, higher-profile games multi-platform, and there's also been talk about Hi-Fi Rush may come to Nintendo Switch, Sony PlayStation, or both. And then subsequently, that Sea of Thieves may also do the same thing. In the past, that any number of the older, already released Xbox titles, though the details that remain nebulous, nothing official has been announced. But even the thought of exercising for now, this has sparked a lot of debate of Xbox priorities and what exactly they would be trying to do in the moves like this. Some think it's pretty clear that Xbox has been pretty empathetic about what it wants the ecosystem to exist beyond the physical consoles, but moves like this raise questions about the way it's going about in spreading former Xbox exclusives to its competitors when in no way would they ever do the same for them. So Xbox obviously wants to break beyond the confines of the console. That's not a bad idea necessarily, as we know that Sony is struggling with the limited install base of PlayStations, which is why we're looking into the faster PC ports and allowing the new development Bungie to keep Destiny's multi-platform. The release of future games multi-platform as well, but in Microsoft's case, there's a few issues with this. Now, I've been saying this for literally years. Okay, if you watch GXG, okay, which I know a handful of you have been watching GXG for years, okay, but we started our 10th season, Generation X, okay, and I've said way before the Xbox Series S and X came out, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I said that Xbox only cares about the future, which is Game Pass, cloud service, and whatnot. And I said that they'll pick and choose what things they want to put out, and they don't care if you buy an Xbox. What they care about is getting on the service, okay? And I don't know why anyone is shocked by this, because Microsoft's MO, okay, is literally software. Back in the day, we were just talking, if you were here in my live chat, if you're watching this after the fact, in live chat, we were talking about PC computers being more popular. And in the past, there wasn't an operating system. And then there was Apple, and then there was PC. And Microsoft decided that they wanted to make software, okay? And everyone's shocked now that Xbox has now got to the point where video games are now digital, and you can just make a software to access those things, which the software is accessing is just Xbox, Xbox.com, xCloud, whatever you want to talk about, that's what they're doing. Xbox, or I should say Microsoft, is just taking what they've already had for literal decades and trying to make it where gaming is the same thing. They don't want to compete with Apple with hardware. They competed with Apple by making software. They don't want to compete with PlayStation by making hardware. They want to compete with PlayStation and Amazon and Google and all these other things with software in the gaming space. If you don't see it, I don't know how to help you, but that's what they're doing. Back to the article, it says if you start picking up and choosing which games go multi-platform some years later, some potentially even within the same year, you confuse your dedicated Xbox fans. Maybe they don't need to own an Xbox, which they can say is fine. We don't need to sell consoles, but maybe if they don't feel they need to keep Game Pass either. Clearly, some Xbox exclusives will probably remain exclusive indefinitely, but which ones is third-party ideas starts happening is unclear. Here's why I don't understand. If you buy something in the store right now and it's $1,000, you're the first adopters to do this, right? A TV comes out, it's the latest, greatest. CES is happening right now. You see technology. People are like, I want that. They pay $1,000 for this certain television set. You're like, this is the latest, greatest thing. 8 months later, someone has the exact same TV because technology goes around, okay, and they get it on sale, and they paid $500 for it, which is half the price. Is the person that bought the TV, that's already watched that TV for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 14 months, 2 years, are they upset because someone else bought the exact same TV, okay, for $500 less? I mean, I guess they could be, but you were the person that bought it ahead of time. You were ahead of the Joneses, okay, and you got to enjoy watching that television set for that period of time. Then someone else bought it, and they're also enjoying it. Why should I get upset if someone else is enjoying something that I'm not even part of? It's a different house. I don't even know they have it. I just know a guy bought it for cheaper price because I walked to the store and I went, huh, that's at $500. I paid $1,000 for that. Okay. That's just what it is, man. Just what it is. Okay. So here going, well, they're going to take the game that I got on Game Pass and they're going to put it over on PlayStation now. Okay. Why do you care what Tyler's playing at his house right now when you're not there? Who cares? Let people play games where they want to play. And this is why the biggest crutch of the thing of why people hate Microsoft is Microsoft sucks. Xbox sucks. They don't want anything to happen. And yet they keep taking their games. They keep let more people play them. Crazy. They put it on Xbox. They put it on a television set. They put it on your mobile phone. They put it on your PC. Now they want to put it on a Switch, or they want to put it on PlayStation 5. Everyone's like, Microsoft is done. They're done. And I'm like, you're idiots. Because Microsoft is doing exactly what they did with software in the PC space, and now they're doing it with video games as well. I continue with the story here. It says, sometimes this makes sense, other times less so. Sea of Thieves is a multiplayer game that exists for years and may benefit from expanding to other consoles and keep its player base healthy. But controversially, multiple Game of the Year nominee Hi-Fi Rush suddenly expand to Xbox competitors. when it was the biggest first-party success story of 2023 feels much stranger. And again, where does it stop? If Starfield attracted a large player count on Game Pass, who's to say that Microsoft wouldn't try to release it on PlayStation for actual box copy sales to further boost its fortunes? Does that one sound improbable? Maybe. But what if instead Microsoft put Halo multiplayer on PlayStation instead of using the same Sea of Thieves logic of keeping player count healthy? What could make sense on paper, but what point do you start losing identity for Xbox as a whole? Their identity is to get people to play more games in more places. That's the identity. Okay? If it's through Game Pass or if it's through whatever, that is what they're trying to do. I continued and says, Microsoft wants to keep attracting more and more Game Pass subscriptions, but the idea is that they'll probably hit a ceiling on console signups. They need to look everywhere or elsewhere for more. But say, Sony isn't going to let Game Pass run on PlayStation most likely, so what does this third-party game accomplishment besides a bit of extra game revenue? Are they supposed to be serving it as ads or Game Pass signups more generally, or off those platforms that seem like a reach? Industry figures claim that the long-term goal is to move beyond dedicated hardware as much as possible with a huge focus on the cloud. Amazing that I've said this, and everyone says, you're crazy. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But cloud gaming has so far proven to be an added feature at best, not an industry-changing shift. And no matter what Microsoft does, at least in the US, where the internet is spotty at best in many places, it seems like we have a hard to ever to get up to the full adoption. That's just being so close-minded that you can't literally see the future. Like, imagine talking back in 2000 going, internet? What is that? You think people are going to talk on a computer screen? Right? And yet here we are, talking on a computer screen. You mean big budget movies are going to be on your television set instead of inside the movie theater? No way. That's never going to happen. Like, what are we talking about here? People are so close-minded about what technology and the future holds. They're still trapped in the past. With third-party moves like Microsoft would in fact start to deliver on it. It says, quote, we want people to play Xbox games everywhere, promise, and Xbox fans would still at least get it games on Game Pass first. But it's an odd strategy. As you know, the reverse would never ever be true. Sony isn't giving God of War to The Last of Us and Microsoft no matter how many years pass. The same for Nintendo and their treasured IPs. Rather than making it look like Microsoft has a coherent plan for Xbox brand going forward, it comes off more like Hail Mary to attract more eyes into its games. And I'm not sure it's going to pan out the way they think. I stand on the other side. Okay. I think the people think that old school media is going to live beyond. Right now, I've commented on how Disney Plus still makes television shows like they're 22 minutes long. You know, you have a straight up hardcore base on your platform that already pay a subscription model, and they're waiting to watch whatever you give them. But yet you treat your shows like a 22-minute episode with commercials, which is not a thing. Okay? If traditional media was still in line, we wouldn't have this right here, what you're watching right now. We wouldn't have YouTube, where content creators can create whatever they want. And the video could be 5 minutes long, or it could be 3 hours long. Okay? You could do whatever you want on the internet. You make your own rules, but yet these people are still stuck in the old school mentality of, well, you got to make it like this because this is the way it worked on television. You have to make this work because this is the way the video game industry did it all these years. Yes, Nintendo has its core base. It's got 133 million people getting the Switch, and they're going to come out with the Switch 2, and they're going to be successful. But Nintendo has never gotten 200 million people playing their games. They've never surpassed any of that. PlayStation might be a 3-to-1 ratio over Microsoft, but they've never gotten to 200 million people to play their games because they don't have that many consoles out there. Xbox combined total hasn't got to 200 million people because of the console, the limit of the console. Now there's things out there where you don't even need a console. And if people can't see the future, then you're blind by your own ignorance. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. If you like it, make sure you check out some of the other videos that we have on our channel. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. It boggles my mind that everyone is still stuck that this is not going to happen. It's not about Microsoft versus PlayStation. That little minority of console wars is just silly. It's silly. Microsoft doesn't give two shits about me. Sony doesn't give two shits about you. You're just a stat, a person that bought a console. That console market is saturated to the point, and what are you going to do? They can't get more than 100 million people to buy an Xbox, okay? But they can get 100 million people to subscribe to World of Warcraft, okay? They can get 100 million people to get Game Pass with certain strategies involved, okay? But they can't get over 200 million people to get an Xbox. PlayStation can't get 200 million. And even if they get 200 million, that's fantastic. There's literally 1 billion people playing video games, and you have 200 million, which is nothing of the bigger scale, okay? Inner Void, I've been saying it for years, and people just don't see it. I'll be the crazy white guy on the internet that nobody knows about with my small little world here on YouTube, okay? I know what I've been saying. I know where technology is going, okay? I'm not from the future, but I can see what the past and what the future holds. Waterbear says, cloud gaming is the way to go in the near future. Consoles will be a thing of the past. Exclusivity will be a thing of talked about in the Gaming History 101 classes. Buddha Papa says, with how Sony fan base complains and cries about getting Xbox games, it's going to be, or games, is going to be a popular and get some of those games on the platform. I'm going to laugh when it happens. And here's the thing. Even if Sea of Thieves comes to PlayStation and Switch or wherever else, it's been out for 5 years. Right? It's been out for 5 years. What? It's saturated. Why do you think they made the PvE section in Sea of Thieves? Because they were hitting a cap. More people weren't coming in. They're like, there's a group of people that don't like PvP. Right? There's a bigger chunk of people that don't like PvP than like PvP. I'm like, well, how do we get this? Why don't we put a safer seas in there? And they did. And all of a sudden, more people are playing Sea of Thieves. Well, if they did the same thing and now Safer Seas is now in the game and they open it up to PlayStation 5 or Switch or whatever, how is that a bad thing for gamers? I don't care if it's good for Sony. I don't care if it's good for Xbox. I don't care if it's good for Nintendo. It's good for gamers. As a gamer, if I'm playing PvP, you'll have more people to play against. If I'm in PvP and it's cross-platform, I have more people to play PvE with that want to join forces so we can play the game. It's a win for the gamers. Everyone says, yeah, I don't get the whole fanboy take. I'm an Xbox ecosystem. I couldn't care less about it. I think having a nice rig will always be a thing for certain people. But once the cloud gaming gets to where it needs to be, I think a lot of casual people will just use that. Sure, but you still need a computer to do the cloud. And there's already, here's another point. There's already companies out there that rent servers. Where if I have a shitty computer, right? If I have a 960 computer, but I can't afford a new, 4090 card, I can rent server to stream that to my computer and experience what a 490 would be, and with the great graphics. Yeah, you're paying a premium for it because it's new. But that's happening right now. Right? You don't even need to own a computer, okay? A high-end computer to play high-end computer graphics. Like, what? Tell me this. Again, I go back to my TV, Keeping Up with the Joneses example. If I pay for something, if I'm an Xbox guy, right? Because that's what the internet told me I am, right? So I own an Xbox Series X. I bought it 2 years ago. Someone buys it on sale right now for $300. Because over the holidays, it was like $350, which is $150 less than what I paid for 2 years ago. Am I supposed to be mad that someone, I'm like, oh yeah, you got the Xbox now and it has games. When I bought the Xbox, it didn't have games. I had to wait to get the games, right? It's the same mentality when I went to Disney World, and there was no Star Wars section in Disney World, right? But yet my son's born, okay? I'm in my 40s. We take him over to Disney World. He gets to experience the Star Wars land instantaneously. Am I mad about that? No, right? I'm also experiencing it and having a good time. I'm not mad at my son going, hey, you little shit. You got to experience this. I had to wait 40 years. It's like, I don't understand. I don't understand people that are upset about things that they've already been playing, already having fun, and now they get the same thing other people get, and they're like, no, you can't play Halo on PlayStation. You can't play Hi-Fi Rush on Switch. You can't play Sea of Thieves on... Who cares? You're playing the game. Just enjoy your game. I have everything. They drop one platform if I can buy games on anything. Mo says PlayStation can make their own dress of thieves, and they're a quality studio. Oh, wait, never mind. They don't know how. It doesn't follow a template. Look, I just think this is a smart move for Xbox, right? Their goal, and everyone laughs at it, is like they want to hit 100 million people on Game Pass, which is their goal in the next 7 years. Okay? And I told you on other videos how they could do it. They could easily do it by just taking World of Warcraft and bringing it on the console. Game Pass. Right? And they don't put it on Game Pass for console right away. They just put it on Ultimate PC. So instead of taking the Battle.net, you just move it over, Battle.net over, and merge it into Game Pass. Voila. The Game Pass number goes from the last time we saw it at 25. It could be 30, 35, right? It could be less too. But it could be 25 million. And then all of a sudden, it gets an instant 25 million because the people that play World of Warcraft now have to play World of Warcraft through Game Pass. Because Microsoft owns it, and they move it over. Voila. That's another additional 25 million people that are now paying Game Pass because they want to play World of Warcraft. Now you bring in other games. Well, I want to play Call of Duty. Oh, Call of Duty. Why am I going to pay $70 over here when I can play it over here for $10 a month? Right? And everyone looks at this as a joke, but Microsoft, last time I checked, that makes zero, like, products, right? Every product they've ever come out with sucks. The phone, the Zune, okay? Their consoles, right? The consoles are like, if you have a console, they're the lowest console sales of all consoles, okay? But yet, they're profitable. They make money. Why? How? How do they do it? They make it with software. With software. That'd be huge. And WoW players get more value. Yes. They get more value because even if they pay $2 more on PC Ultimate, because they're paying $15 now for WoW, but they pay $17 for Game Pass, they get an increase of price of $2, and they also get all the other things that are on the Xbox. Zune was great. Heard the phone was great. Sure, Mo. They don't exist now. So you saying they're great proves my point. They don't exist anymore. Right? You could like something, but you also have to admit it fucking sucked because it doesn't exist anymore. Right? I love you, Mo, but you come in like, oh, I like it. It doesn't matter if you like it. It doesn't exist anymore. The Zune doesn't exist anymore. The Windows Phone doesn't exist anymore. Why? Because they sucked. So they could have been good, but the world decided, and Microsoft decided that they were shit, and they weren't, like, the Stadia might have been good. Doesn't matter. Google canceled it because it was shit. Even if Xbox, which I don't think they'll do, okay, they could stop making Xboxes. But it doesn't mean Xbox is dead, because now Xbox is taking the next form. Like a Jedi from Star Wars. Literally kills himself to be the hologram, so he's still in touch with everybody and can still use the Force abilities. He's just not physically in the world anymore. I love Mixer. I love Mixer. Mixer was the best platform. If Mixer was still up, I would still be over there. I wouldn't be on YouTube. I loved Mixer. Actually, I'd probably be streaming on both Mixer and YouTube. I just think it's funny that people are so quick to be like, I would love to see articles back in the 80s, okay, where they're talking about, well, Microsoft's abandoned playing or making PCs. I don't know what's going to happen. They're never going to make it. What are they, like the third largest business in the world? Right? What's the top 3 businesses? Top 10 businesses. Top 5. Top 5 businesses in the world. Yeah. Apple number 1, Amazon number 2, and Microsoft number 3. Let me see where Sony is. Here, let me raise the top businesses in the world. Okay, we see. Oh, I'm sorry. Microsoft's number 2. Microsoft's number 2 with 2.8 trillion market cap. Google's number 4 at 1.7 trillion. Amazon's number 5 at 1.5 trillion. My bad. Saudi Arabian company, Saudi Aramco, is at 2.15. But let me scroll down here. Oh yeah, they don't have. I can't go on to the next page. Hold on, I gotta find one with a bigger one. Top 100 companies. This is back in 2021 now, so this is not going to be very accurate. Let me go. Top businesses in the world 2023. Gonna be hard to see, but Apple's number 1, Microsoft's number 2, Saudi's number 3, Google's number 4, Amazon's number 5, Nvidia's number 6, and let's go down here. Let's see where we got. We're at 60, 61. We're at 80. Sony is Sony not in the top 100? Did I miss them? Verizon, Adobe, Walt Disney, Salesforce, McDonald's, Casio, Pepsi, Samsung. Yeah, right. You know who I don't see on this list, right? Because this is the biggest problem. People talk about Xbox and PlayStation, but what they need to talk about is Sony and Microsoft, and they're not in the same ballpark. They're not in the same ballpark because Microsoft has a gaming division, so does Sony, but Microsoft as a company is number 2 in the entire world. Okay? Sony's company, not even in the top 100. Sony has a more diverse company. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yes, no match. No match, Z. Sony's not on the list. I think it was Casio. No, it wasn't Casio. It was Cisco. It was Cisco, not Casio. I was like, that's why I said what I said, Mo. I was like, Casio. I was like, I don't even think they're a company anymore. TVs, movie studio, electronics, etc. Yeah, but what does that mean, though? We're talking about the company. I don't care about their divisions. I don't care about their divisions. Great. Sony makes television sets. Microsoft makes defense systems, camera systems, software, operates every single computer on the planet, basically. They make an Xbox for gaming. They have a cloud system. Like I don't... Like, what are we talking about? More diverse. Congratulations. More diversity. Still not on the top 100 list. McDonald's makes food and real estate. They're like, I think 50. No, wait. McDonald's is 45. They're in the top 50. Gives a shit about more diverse. Here, let's see. Sony's divisions. Let's see. Let's see. Sony also operates 6 key product-based divisions: game and network service, music, pictures, electronic products, solutions, imaging, sensing solutions, financial services. Sony also has 6 geographic divisions that are made of some of the changing organizational structures in 2021. Okay. Now I want to know... Oops. Oops. Come. Let's see. We operate our business in 5 segments: Windows and Windows Live Division, Server and Tools, Online Service Division, Microsoft Business Division, Entertainment Business Division. Our segment provides management with comprehensive financial views of our key business. There you go. So Sony has 6. Microsoft has 5. Microsoft has number 2 in the world. Sony not in the top 100. So if Pepsi decided to make clothing line, that means that they're better than Levi? No one said that. It doesn't matter how many divisions they have. You're the one that brought up divisions. I'm saying as a company, they're a bigger company. Microsoft is bigger. Who cares about the diversity of what the portfolio looks like? I don't give a shit. The point of the thing is that everyone thinks that Xbox is going under because Microsoft, even if they get rid of the Xbox, Game Pass and the cloud still live on. McDonald's been killing it though. McDonald's is actually making new restaurants now, aren't they? They're making like a they're making like coffee shops now, like a smoothie slash like baked goods, whatever. Right? I think they're McDonald's new restaurant. Yeah. Called Cosmics. And McDonald's new restaurant called Cosmic. What is Cosmic? Cosmic is reported back in August that the concept was announced that Cosmic is McDonald's first foray into a spin-off restaurant, according to the press release. New small format beverage-led concept, inspired by nostalgic and powered by a menu of bold, refreshing beverages and tasty treats. It's basically like a Sonic, I guess, you know? It's only one arch. It's only one arch. It's not 2. It's gonna be like Starbucks with a few McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. Yeah. Right. You can have a diverse portfolio and still have shit for value. Not saying that Sony does, but I'm just saying in general. The metric that matters is Microsoft is revenue, and that's my point, right? And my point is that everyone thinks that because they're sharing or putting their games on another platform that they're in trouble. They're just looking to make more money. There's a saturation point. Okay, there's a saturation point. Netflix hit that saturation point. What is Netflix doing to stop that saturation point? No more people are getting subscription model for Netflix. So what are they trying to do? They diversify themselves to get games, right? Just to see if they can get that over that next hump. Okay, why are people Disney Plus losing? Right, there's a saturation point. The saturation point right now for Nintendo is about 150 million, right, of people that get the Switch. Hence why they have to get a new Switch, because if a new system comes out, then the same people that bought the first Switch are going to buy it again. It's still 120, 130, 150. Same people just waiting the years later to buy the system again. And they might get an additional 10 million over the years. But they're never going to hit 200, 250, 300, 500 million. They're not. There's a saturation point. How do they diversify that? Well, they got to take their games and they got to go elsewhere. Okay? And if they don't need to, if they're successful. Nintendo doesn't need to get off Nintendo because Nintendo's successful. But they've also put some of their games on mobile phones. Why? Because they're trying to expand the people that they're getting to. Because not everyone buys a Switch. But everyone has a cell phone and they can get a Nintendo game. Okay? So, sure, do you dilute your system if you put your games on other platforms? Sure. But Nintendo also sells 50 million copies of a video game out of 133 million systems that are out there. They sell more software, okay, per game than anybody else. Not even close, right? So why Xbox fans are fighting with PlayStation fans, Nintendo is just printing money because each first-party title they get, God of War sells 20 million copies. Meanwhile, Nintendo has 50 million. Okay? Double that in less time. And they come out with the next first-party title, and that sells 35 million, right? They're doing Call of Duty numbers for every first-party title on Nintendo. Meanwhile, the first-party titles on PlayStation sell 10 million, 30 million over their lifetime. Right? There's a saturation point. Is Microsoft more in trouble than Sony or Nintendo? No, they're actually trying to break free to get it to as many people as possible. If it's on PlayStation, if it's on Switch, if it's on the cloud, if it's on PC, if it's on their own console, they don't care. And everyone's like, well, it devalues what I own for Xbox. I don't give a shit if you're getting it on PlayStation. Have fun. Have fun. The question is, Take-Two higher on that list than Sony? Well, this is an overall business. I don't even think Take-Two's on that list at all. I don't think Take-Two's on that list at all. Yeah, this just came in. This is today's. This came out January. Oh no, this is last year, January 10th, 2023. Let's see the list, right? This is in January last year. Right? Apple's down over here in this particular one. But what is this ranking on? This is annual analyst ranks the largest public companies in issue. American public says polling are the most important. All right, so this is just a polling of what they think the most popular companies are. Okay, this is polling from people. So let's see. Right, Microsoft is still number 3 on this list. Right, this is not financials. This is literally polling people of what companies they think are the most important. Okay. Top 100 companies. Let's see. Best Buy is there. Walmart, Starbucks, Amazon, we're in the 50. The Hershey Company, 58. AT&T, 60. Let's see. E-Corp. Duke Energy. Pepsi is at 80. Bell Corp. BlackRock at number 90. Nike's at 97. Look, even the people that are voting, Sony's not even on the top 100 list. I think Microsoft is fine doing what they're doing. And this is not me being a Microsoft fan in any way, shape, or form. I'm literally just talking about reality here of people saying that Xbox is losing its identity, and people on Xbox should be upset because their Halo game, that the reason you bought an Xbox, that might be going to another platform. Okay. Have fun. More people for me to play with if I'm playing that game on whatever system I'm playing that game on. People are going to lose their mind when they hear Indiana Jones is a first-party title. Everyone's going to be like, oh, the game's going to suck. It's like, okay. And then if it doesn't come out in just first-party title and it's on all platforms, what are people going to say then? That Microsoft's in trouble and they have to put Indiana Jones on all platforms? Like, you can't win. Right? You can't win. People, I'm bitching about people bitching. People are bitching about stupid things. Raise the questions about Xbox long-term goals. Like, what are we talking about? My motto is this year, if it ain't on Game Pass, then I'll pass, except maybe Suicide Squads and Prince of Persia. There might be a time that Suicide Squad, again, just based on the leaks, well, I mean, we haven't heard about it yet, so it's probably not going to happen because we're literally just days away. Okay? But what about the Shadow Drop? I know they said they already put out what they're going to do, but let's just say an announcement comes out, and then Suicide Squad is on Game Pass. Right? Again, it was in the leaked documents that they wanted to pay $250 million to get day and date. Now, they haven't mentioned a goddamn thing about it. Okay? And maybe it's not coming at all. But remember how soon Outriders got announced just 30 days before. It would be pretty crazy. And now people, here's a conversation. People would be pissed off if all of a sudden Suicide Squad's day and date, not pre-order, just day and date, right? And they'll be like, why did I pre-order? And I'll tell you this right now. If you pre-ordered, you're getting it 3 days early access, okay? If you didn't want the 3 days early access, you can wait till day one. And if they do bring it out on Game Pass day and date, okay, then you don't need to spend the $60, which is even more reason to even try the game out and see if you like it, right? Now, I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just putting out the fact that it was in the leaked documents that they wanted to pay $250 million for Suicide Squad's day and date if they if they agreed upon that. I have no idea. Chris says, I really want Suicide Squad on Game Pass. I really want to play the game, but Christmas was heavy. I need a few months before I can purchase a new game. Oh, I hear you there. Game Pass has saved me a freaking fortune. Right? And here's the best part. Anytime the industry decides to raise the prices from $70 to $80 to $90 to $100, all the streaming services, PlayStation, Nintendo, Luna, Game Pass, they all win. The companies literally raise the price up. Okay? Think about the 4D chest here. Because if I buy a system right now and I still have a physical disc, I can still purchase those discs for that system. Okay? But once it all goes digital and they start raising the prices up, $70, $80, $90, $100 for a video game, okay? It's going to be on PlayStation Plus. It's going to be on Game Pass. It's going to be on Luna. It's going to be on Ubisoft Plus at the $14. You're going to be driven, okay? You're going to be compelled to not get a physical copy anymore, and you're going to choose the service. And the service, they're going to get more money out of you per person over the year than they would if just the person that's buying out the game. Because if more people are on the service, then they know that we have 50 million people. They're paying $10 a month. We're making this average off of each person for the year. Where if other people are just buying 5 games a year, you're not buying those games. You're buying them off of third parties. You're going to Walmart. You're going to Target. They don't get their cut of that. But if you're stuck on that system, they get that percentage of that game because it's being bought off their system. So it behooves you, for the companies, to raise the prices to get you on their services because they get more money from the companies putting their games on the thing. They get more money per person over the long term of the year. That's what they're trying to do. Make the problem, sell the solution. The problem is games are going up in price. The solution is we have PlayStation Plus. The problem is prices are going up. The solution is Game Pass. The solution is Nintendo whatever. Okay? The solution is Amazon Luna, Ubisoft Plus, EA Play. Come on down. Pay that monthly subscription fee. Can't afford these $500 or $100 games, 5 games a year. That's $500. But now you pay $14 a month. And you're saving a shit ton of money. Go on, dude. Or you could just buy Sunset Overdrive for the next nothing because Suicide Squad is heavily influenced by that game. Combat is almost identical. Sure. If you've never played that game before. Or, dude, you wait till the game bombs and then goes on massive sale 6 months from now. I'm going to be playing it. And I don't want any game to bomb. But that's not the nature. Certain games are going to bomb. Good, bad, and different. I like this music. It's very inspirational as I'm... Yeah, we were talking earlier, dude. I don't know if you were here. I want them to open up the NDA. Like, just drop the NDA. Let people speak about what they played. Even with the bad people coming out and saying they're shitting on the game, more people would be hyped for this game if they just let them talk about it. It's funny how people keep saying Game Pass doesn't make them money. But why is everything making a subscription now? Where you can play their games day and date. PlayStation hasn't done this yet, but soon. I've said that years ago. I also said when they Starfield before they officially said it was official first party title. I said it's a first party title until it's not. There might be a day where they do open it up. It might be 12 months from now. It might be 24 months from now. They might open it up and they might not ever open it up. But it's not until it is. Okay? Because it all depends on what that saturation point is. If the game didn't hit the mark that they wanted, let's say they thought it was going to hit 10 million. They got 13 million people. They're like, we don't need it yet. Let's see what happens when the creation kit comes out. Let's see what happens when modders come out. Let's see what happens. If that gets slow, then they go, okay, let's take that game and let's open it up to PlayStation now. That's it. It'll always be a first-party title until it's not. Well, right? Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. It'll always be a first-party title, but will it be exclusive? Correct. Yeah, it'll always be a first-party title because it's owned by them. That's a dumb statement, Mo. Of course, it's a first-party title. It's owned by them. Yeah, it'll be an exclusive until it's not. I want to play Suicide Squad because it's the new thing. Looters are always more fun. Release people are playing excited, etc. I hope it's a blast. And I have really wanted the looter like Borderlands to drag me in. I love when games come out like Suicide Squad and Marvel's Avengers. When they first come out, people are playing the story and everything's new, and then you find a new weapon. You talk about that weapon, and then you start making videos and you see build videos. I love that honeymoon phase. And then it starts to creep in. this game's not very good. We need more end game. And it is. I hope that this, if anything, if they haven't learned about a looter shooter, hopefully Suicide Squad learns on how the other looters shooters failed, and they make the changes so it doesn't fall into the same ropes as that. Okay, I'm okay guarding a base. Okay, I'm okay killing the same guys over and over again if it's fun and they constantly bring in content. And like what's his name? I forget. Comics historian, when he talked about it and said, Fortnite, you come back to Fortnite, you put Fortnite down, and you come back a couple weeks later, you come back a couple months later, and you play Fortnite again. If they do that with this game, then that's a winning solution. Yeah, Game Pass. I think I might try it. I don't know if I'm going to try it tonight, but I'm definitely. Well, actually, I'm going to try it, but I don't know when. If you want badass builds, Suicide Squad, I say follow Lejeune. Yeah, I said it yesterday. If you want a good build videos, you follow Lejeune. Or you watch my content live. We had just as powerful as Hulk as Lejeune did. Just Lejeune had makes build videos. I don't. Everyone was sleeping on Hulk. Wipe out entire rooms with my clap. Way before he made a video. The new gear score grind, I hope, works. A fresh idea on the genre. Might bring new life. The risk, I hope it pays off. Instead of gear grind, weapon type builds much more. Right. It's the build grind, right? It's the build grind instead of the gear grind. I don't think a lot of people are going to like it. I don't. I think a lot of people are going to push back to it because they're going to be like, well, what are we doing? They're not going to understand it right off the bat. They still won't get over it that it's not a Batman game, first off. That's the problem, Water. I don't know if I'm going to play it. It's just a giant game. We're literally less than 20 days away, right? 10th right now? Yeah. We're 20 days away from Suicide Squad's coming out. And then my channel, when I do Let's Plays and stuff, is going to be Suicide Squad for the next couple months, right? We're literally leveling up every single character, right? Max out the characters and the skill trees and get to know what they are and do different builds. That's what the game is. 30, would you play through Gears Trilogy Remake in Unreal Engine 5? Probably not. Probably not. Only because there's new games coming out, and I don't have time to go back to old games to play with a new engine. I might check it out, but I don't think I would put in like a full playthrough of everything. Eclipse says, when I played Avengers demo, I knew that I didn't want to pay full price for that game, and I did. I played it on Game Pass, and I did it. I played it on Game Pass. Suicide Squads, I wanted game instantly after I played it. I can't concur or deny. I just want the NDA to be lifted. I want the NDA to be lifted. The dude says AC Valhalla is great value for the Game Pass too, but I bought it 100%. I'm going King as my main. Harley, Boomerang, Deadshot, in that order. I think I'm gonna go King Shark for my. I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna make videos like I did for Gotham Knights for Suicide Squad for the characters. I'm writing them now. I'm gonna make 4 different videos, each of the characters explaining what they are, but I don't know how to do it if I'm stuck behind an NDA because I have to put it in a way where I guess the information that's already shown, which is everything that we played, so. Well, that's another thing, right? Suicide Squad's in Unreal Engine 4. And I guarantee you, right? Because people can't bitch about something. They bitch about something stupid, like a Fortnite bus or slave children. But they don't, they're not complaining anymore about, is it 60 frames per second? Or if it's Unreal Engine, right? Everyone's like, oh, I want Unreal Engine. Now it's an Unreal Engine 4, and now it's not Unreal Engine 5. You're going to get complaints about that? Or it's 60 frames per second, so they can't bitch about that. It's like, oh, it runs too good. It runs too smooth. I wish there was more people on the screen for civilians that don't do anything. Like, what? What? That's what they're gonna bitch about. Do people bitch about that in there's not enough people? Like, give me a good game. An open world game in a city. Do people bitch about that? Not enough people not to do anything. Oh, yeah, never mind. Starfield. People bitch about that the people in the city look terrible, but then they also bitch about a game that doesn't have any people in it. There aren't enough bugs. My channel relies on bugs to be funny, so I'm bored. There's too many people. There's not enough people. The map's too big. The map's too small. I can't get across the map. There's boundaries. There's no boundaries. There's like, it's like, I need my handheld. I don't need my handheld. Like, you want from people, right? I wanted a Batman game. I wanted a Superman game. I want a Justice League game. Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you playing right now? Like, what? Someone that bitches all the time about the games that suck and don't suck and like, what are you playing right now? And then if you're not playing that right now, go fucking play it. Be happy for a second. Jesus Christ. Can you play 4 King Sharks? Yes. Yes. The worst. Obviously, my channel, we talk about a bunch of different topics. The worst is if someone has a title talking about Suicide Squad, nothing but Suicide Squad, and then someone comes in and is like, this game's a piece of shit. It's like, what? Why are you looking for content? Why are you picking on someone that's talking about a game that you don't have any interest in? I don't understand. I don't understand those people. Like, people bitches about Gotham Knight not having a lot of people in nighttime, first of all. I think I had enough people for the time of day. I think it was fine. We had conversations about that, Eclipse. I was like, it's fine. It's also part of... If the game is just empty because it's empty, there's a problem. But if the game is empty because the developers tell you it's part of the story, I have no problem with that. I tell you that in movies as well. As long as they give me one line to tell me why it's happening, I'm okay with that. Be happy for a second. You ask a lot of us. Misery loves company, I guess. But misery is stupid, because if you wake up in the day, right, and you have no interest, you have 0% interest in the game, and then all of a sudden you go to that channel and it says that game you hate on the title, you're like, all right, let's get to it. And you're like, why? I don't like Destiny anymore. I don't like Destiny anymore. Am I watching Destiny streamers? Am I watching Destiny content? Do I talk about Destiny? No. Like Hollywood and singers. Don't care about your viewpoint and opinions. Just act or just make music. Right, but at that same point though, Z, when you're watching someone you don't like, why are you watching? Right? I'm not saying you, right? I'm asking the question, like why would you watch somebody that you don't like? Or a game that you have no interest in? Like the people that are hating on a game, whatever that game is, Starfield, if it's Suicide Squads, if it's No Man's Sky, if it's Battlefield, right? I love Battlefield, right? We give shit to Battlefield because I love Battlefield and I want Battlefield to be a good game, right? The people that are bitching about certain games, they hate that game. They haven't played the game. They don't give two shits about that game, and yet they do nothing but talk crap about that game or shit on people that are playing the game. Because you think someone wants to hear your view on stuff. You think you want to hear your view on stuff. So if I have a title, right? Like my one of my videos is on Starfield. The person that watches me wants to know my opinion on Starfield even though they have no interest in Starfield? Is that what you're saying? These and other mysteries of the universe may never be revealed. No, I get it, Z. No, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. Not you, the person complaining. Right. If I'm the person complaining, I hate Starfield. And now I'm me, right? I'm doing a Starfield video. And then that person that hates Starfield likes me, right? They come and watch my content. But I have a specific video just about Starfield. That person comes in and says, fucking Starfield, I hate Starfield, and shit's all over Starfield. Like, why did you pick that video if you have no interest in that game? Do you know what I mean? Like, just don't watch that day. It's okay. I'm like a live service game, right? You come back when you're interested in the content. Not more during live streams. It's more during the actual video specific video of the thing. And you'll have someone come in the comment section and say something. And I'm like, why? Yes, people today find value in what others agree with them. Sure. I'm 60. No one agrees with me. I'm over it. I mean, I'm 45. I'm okay with not agreeing with people. But the certain takes that people have, it's kind of weird. I think a lot of people get a little deeper in this. I think a lot of people have, like, they're lonely. I think a lot of people are lonely. They don't have friends. I think a lot of people also introverts that are not very comfortable talking to people, and they're stuck inside, and they don't get out to talk to people and conversate with people, and the less they conversate with people, they don't understand to push the boundaries. They just feel like because of the internet, right? Like, you see my face, right? So you could put like emotions and stuff to me, but when you're typing, there's no emotion, there's no boundaries, there's no nothing that someone can do. They can just say what they want to say, and they don't know if they're being rude or sarcastic or whatnot because they can't read it like that, right? And there's a big problem with that. If the same people that came in, if I was standing in a room of 100 people, okay, and you paid to come and see me, or you came in and you're listening to me and you know the topic, right? We're all in a room together, and someone says, "You fucking suck," right? Someone's gonna get punched, right? But on the internet, no one gets punched, right? No one gets punched because they're all anonymous. The same person that types shit in the chat or comment section or is rude would never do that in real life. And if they did, they would learn real fast never to do it again. Yeah, but those guys don't even watch the video. And they go to the comments. Oh, Mo, I have one a day. One a day. Right? I post a video. And sure enough, someone will be like, well, this is how it is. And I'm like, did you watch my video? Because I literally said that. Like, my Warcraft video, which got good viewership. Right? The question is, why would they come to console? Did you watch the video? Did you watch the video? Because if you knew what you were asking, because the actual thumbnail says coming to console, and then the actual video talks about how I don't think it's coming to console, but I think it's coming to Game Pass Ultimate first. You wouldn't have to ask that question, right? It's uncanny. The same people that buy a game, never complete the game, never get past the tutorial, are the same people that watch a video, they watch the first 5 seconds, don't finish the rest of the video, and then ask a question that's in the video. I wish people could see me. Wait, can I click on your... I can't. Let me see. No, I can't see your profile. Assault charges should be more this is would make people more polite. They knew they might be getting a beating. I mean, you've heard me before, Kuda Papa. I think everyone should get punched in the face at least once. At least once. Just so you know, right? Because cats and dogs, when they're puppies and kittens, they bite their brothers and sisters. And all of a sudden you'll hear one squeak. You're like, ah! Because it knows it went too far. Mom will bite them. Brother will bite them. Sister will bite them. Right? Mom will smack them. Be like, hey, cut it out. And then they know. Because if they act up again, they know the feeling of being bitten or hit, and they won't do it again. And that's what's called boundaries. Okay? And same thing goes with humans. You say something stupid, and someone punches you, then you would never say something stupid before you thought about it, right? You would think about it before you did it. You would be like, if I say this, I could get hit again. Now, did I like being hit? That's a different story. Some people deserve more than once. Well, yeah, but those are still called boundaries, right? Even when you joke around with your friends, right? Friends shit on friends all the time, right? True friends, when they do something, they say something, and if there's a true friend, they'll be like, ooh, sorry, I went too far, right? And it's forgiven. But if you're not a friend, if you go too far, they exile you. They're like, did you see what the fuck? Right? Because they didn't know the boundaries. That's the difference. The internet, that's all gone. There is no boundaries. Everyone says whatever they want because it's just text on a screen. Right? There's no repercussions. There's literally channels reading people's stupid tweets, right? Oh no, it's Alex does this every single week. The man has a living because of stupid people. And I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. He roasts people all the time because there is no boundaries of the stupidity that people type. All right, it's 12:45. I gotta get going because I gotta do some editing. We'll be back tonight for to play some games. Not sure what we're gonna be playing, but we'll be playing something. That's why it makes Thursday night so great. Sarge and 30, go for it. Yeah, brothers that like the bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're back tonight. just to give you guys heads up, we do have an interview, our second podcast that I did last month when we did it with Kingard. We interviewed Kingard last month. Kingard wants to come back on the show. I have to set that up again, but he wants to come back and hang out with us. So, which is awesome because he's a great interview, and I think it'll be good banter back and forth. But that's not a podcast. The second episode of 30, the 30 podcast, chatting with. We're gonna be talking to Miller. Those of you that don't know Miller, he's a Twitter. He's a writer. He had a Twitch stream. I don't know if he still streams or not. I don't go to Twitch, but we're gonna talk to him because of Suicide Squads. He's a data miner. He's big in the community. He likes playing those types of games. A lot of people know him from Suicide Squad and Marvels and all this other stuff. He breaks down a lot of things. We're gonna have an interview with him either the 24th or the 25th. Now, if it's the 25th, because we usually do podcast Thursday nights, Generation X Gaming. If he has to do Thursday night, we're going to move the podcast to Wednesday and then his interview to Thursday. If he does the 24th and it stays the same, we'll do a podcast Wednesday night for chatting with him. And then Thursday, the 25th, we'll do the Generation X Gaming podcast. So we do have Miller coming on to talk about Suicide Squad, get to know him and whatnot. So that is the second podcast that we'll be doing in that format. So I appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. We do lots of different content here. We do live streams, we do uploads, we do gameplay, and we do podcasts. So I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.